try to lock in and have like decent um, structure,
Mhm.
or if we should just go with less structure.
I think having some slides and going through them is kind of nice,
Mm-hmm.
but like not super like, especially if not everyone hands in his homework, then it's hard.
Right. Okay.
No, no, but like I think some structure is nice. We can just
I mean,
always.
there will always be weeks where one of us
Oh
can
yeah,
share
absolutely. I didn't have
something, I
shit last
guess,
week, right?
you know.
I didn't even have connection.
But honestly, what do you think about instead of worked on, what if it's just last like this, you know?
Ooh. Yeah,
And we
feels
can,
weak.
I don't know, if we
Yep.
play some game, we can put it on the, I don't know, who knows, right? Or like
Gotcha.
some TV show
Yeah,
or
that's cool.
something. I
I
don't
think
know.
that's nicer if we can also include like what we did this week.
Yeah, because then you
Some
guys
grass
also have
touching.
some visual stuff, right? Because otherwise
Yeah.
it's always going to be me posting like designs, and you're gonna have a bunch of text.
Help.
Um, yeah, but I guess should we just start off with last week? We can
Yeah.
start with yours.
Okay, mine is particularly interesting. So I was
Oh.
working on some legal stuff, which I can't go more into depth currently. I was like looking at a lot of opportunities, like different startups, just like different ventures, and evaluating those, and also like products, and potentially building a product in the future, and like evaluating all of that. So basically, I yearn for the coding minds. I haven't written a single line of code this week, which is kind of annoying. But it was like a lot of important stuff I had to do, but mostly sidetracked from what I actually wanted to do. So now that that's mostly sorted out, and I'm looking forward to Saturday, like starting the great like winter arc lock-in or whatever.
What are you gonna do? Because I saw your tweets about wanting to pivot or locking in on something.
Oh yeah, it's mostly just I think it was like I had this roadmap even like with the current business for a while to build
Mm-hmm.
services first, then try out different industries, and once we have some repeatable thing or like two or three pilots in the same industry, going into maybe like going like productizing it.
Mm-hmm.
That got sidetracked for a while, but now things cleared up and I can do that again. And I had really interesting talks with other people about like joining startups or like even raising myself, and that kind of I think made me realize that I should just stick to the plan and that it's definitely doable. Like a lot of my moods currently are raising and it's working well for them. So it was basically mostly a, oh, why shouldn't I do it moment. So at some point that might happen. But yeah, that was mostly it. So like kind of back to the roots and like working on annoying stuff I had to do.
And what's the
You
product?
ever
Can you share where it's going roughly?
Oh yeah, most definitely. It would be like I have multiple interesting ideas. One would be manufacturing because like I think we had a long talk about manufacturing in Germany.
Mm-hmm.
Basically just like streamlining and tightening a process in manufacturing. Another one would be like medical devices industry, like basically AI first document management for medtech, defense, automotive. And the last one would be in the fashion industry, which would be kind of interesting. Like kind of, you could call it democrat, like basically distributed, hand tailored fashion, kind of.
Interesting.
do you ever feel like if you're like a business owner, you'll always get like a disproportionate amount of like non-coding work that you have to do, and like
Um,
do you ever think about that? Like
yeah,
because does
and
it look like having a job is actually like better, even if you make less or whatever? Like at least you just
oh,
code all the time and like all that.
when I had a job, like I was coding way more. But I think it's in
Hmm.
phases, and also it's kind of lucky for me because my like co-founder does most of the calls and the acquisition work and all of
Gotcha.
that. So in a normal week, I can, let's say, 2 or 3 hours per day is always like some content outreach or whatever, calls, meetings, whatever. And then
Right.
like I try to do 1 or 2 hours of research to not get behind. Can be like reading books, reading papers, whatever. And rest of the time is coding.
I
Oh, okay.
think like having a job is not a solution though, right? Because
No.
uh, like you will eventually just work yourself up the ladder, and you're not going to be coding even in your job, right? That's
Yeah.
what happens always. So I think for me, honestly, because I'm not really, I mean, I am coding definitely, but it's not as much as like even a year ago. It's like way more calls, way more emails. And honestly, I don't know if I see myself coding past like 30. I
Mhm.
think I feel like it's kind of like the natural progression to at some point go into product. At least for me, that's what it seems like. So I think I would rather tell people what to do than do it myself. Because at some point you have to delegate, right?
Mhm.
And it's hard. I think if you stick to your coding and you're mad whenever you don't get to code, all the other delegation also doesn't work. That's how I see it. Like it's hard to delegate. It's also hard to delegate for me, but I think it's just you have to lean into it. If you don't, um, do you get where I'm going? Like it's
Yeah, I
hard, right?
understand
You
what you're
can't
saying, but
build
I
a
think
business
like staying
on.
somewhat technical, even if it's just like what I always thought about is like kind of your street cred, because like if at some point you're like working on harder stuff or you potentially even doing a startup, there are a lot of I'm just thinking like strictly maybe teapot in the in
Right.
your days. There are a ton of crack kids that you could even hire for not that much, but they wouldn't respect you at all if you're not somewhat technical. So if you kind of want to get technical people for future projects or even just for freelance or whatever, I think you have to have some technical street cred, because otherwise you will just get more business minded people, which would I say are less good at coding and cost more.
Yeah, but I don't see how this is relevant to what I've said because you still have the street cred, right? If you were building or like if you were working as a dev for like 10 years, would you say that like a 60-year-old, I don't know, staff level engineer or like 55-year-old guy? I mean, obviously, some young kid, right? They might say that it's like outdated knowledge or whatever, but I think obviously there's still street cred, right?
Yeah, kind of. I think it
So
also comes down if you like it. We talked about
so
it before. I
what
think
I
you.
was wanting to say is not that I'm not ever going to touch code again, right? I think it's just a natural progression that you're not like as you get older and your industry experience grows, I think if you're a product guy, right? Some people are not, but if you're a product guy, I think the your input is going to be worth more if you're a decision holder
Oh yeah, yeah,
and not like 8 hours a day coding on some meaningless task, right?
yeah.
That's how I see it.
Even if that was the case, I think I would. If I think I would find it more enjoyable to just. I think it does also come down to like enjoyment because like yeah, you are correct. If you have been working on products, like even as a programmer, even as a young programmer, you're programming products. So if you've been working on products for 2 decades, yeah, your input to product management will probably be higher value. So objectively, it would make sense. So I get it. In that sense, I guess it is a natural progression. But man, if my job was to just come up with to just think about a product without having significant amounts of time to just like write
I,
the code, I wouldn't
no,
enjoy that.
I think you could still be writing code like 1 or 2 days a week, right? But I think you would be writing code that's critical, right?
Oh yeah,
And I'm
exactly.
not talking about critical in terms of critical infrastructure like architect. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about like let's take zero cred for example, right? I think
Right.
let's say we scale up zero cred and we have like 10 people working for us. Would
Right.
we, or even like let's talk about you, right? Because you're way more of a programmer than I am. Would you be working on, I don't know, some garbage tables, 10 stack tables? Probably not, right? You would probably be working on some POC or something that
Yeah, for a future
moves the
product, for a
business
future.
forward, right?
Yeah, I get that. I mean, yeah, that's like. Well, I was gonna say earlier when he was talking about products and all that, that like if you would want to be that if you would want to have a significant amount of your work time be dedicated to programming, then you'd almost be forced to do the whole like super lean startup type thing. So like even to your thing about zero credit, even hiring 10 people would feel, even though that's a very low number, that would feel like a bloat in a sense.
Yeah.
And so, but given that, yes, if we did have 10 people, yeah, I would probably be building POCs and maybe programming the main flow, like like if zero credit was new, it would be the verification flow, for example, or stuff like that.
Yeah, or you
Yeah.
would be, let's say we update the verification flow, right? This is like
Yeah.
the central part, so you would be working on that maybe with a small team. But
Yeah.
I don't think you would ever be working on, I don't know, uh, fetching some garbage on the marketing page, right? That would never happen. And, or like, I guess, or
Well,
maybe if you're just,
mhm.
maybe you have like half an hour of free time, right? Then you would maybe
Yeah.
get into
Some
that.
I
But
get what
it's
you
not
mean. Yeah.
like just working on tickets all day, because that I think would be a waste at this point, right?
Y- Yeah.
If you are a
But
founder,
don't you
like
think?
I don't think like all the founders, because there is sometimes founders on X, right? And they're like, yeah, I, I think wasn't it like this Google guy? He was like, oh, I'm back in the code base, whatever.
Yeah, yeah. I think Sergey Brin even like went back to mostly coding from his yacht.
Yeah, but it's like him just wanting to do that, right? Because he
Yeah.
basically like
That's
that's how I see it, right?
yeah.
He's like,
Yeah. Yeah.
okay, I'm fucking bored. Like,
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
bought
I
everything
mean,
I could now. I'm just gonna go back. It's
don't
like,
you think though that's how like enshittification happens? Like when you hire, because like for example, if we had to fetch a bunch of jobs for a job page and I had to do it, then I would be thinking about like ISR, how often are we posting a job, da, 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 and then you know what I mean. That's how like a founder would do it versus like if you hire an engineer who just like tends to query it probably. No
yeah,
hate to
but that's
Tencent,
where
of
you
course.
would come in, right? That's what I mean. I mean, I don't mean like product management decisions. I think,
Yeah.
let's say if we hire 10 people,
Hmm.
instead of hiring, like, instead of upgrading one of these guys to be lead dev, I think we should just be the lead dev, right? And
Right.
then
Yeah.
we would make sure that they are not half-assing it, right? That they are not fetching on the fucking client. Um,
Yeah.
and then obviously I do think that as products grow larger, they always get shittier, right? That's
Yeah.
what happens.
Yeah. It's
Like
like a
I
yeah.
think it's really hard to like I'm actually super interested. Did you guys check out Polar?
Yes.
When it first launched, it was like insanely polished. Like the
Yeah. I
onboarding was
haven't.
polished as fuck. It was like kind of it wasn't, it didn't feel feature complete. That's why I didn't use it. But I like now they hired, right? They hired like, I think they hired like 10 people or like 5 people. I'm sure that the product itself will not be as
Mm,
polished moving forward. I think they'll lose some of that for sure because it was like insanely polished. There was nothing that stood out to me as like unpolished, not even in like deep down in settings, right?
yeah.
So I think because it's hard, right? It's hard to hire people. Like your first hires are always going to be hard, I think, and then making it so the product doesn't get shittier, I think it's almost impossible. Like there's always going to be ups and downs, right? It's going to be get shittier, then you clean it up, it's going to get shittier again. That's how I see
Yeah.
it.
Unless you're very patient and you're okay with us like a small team steadily pushing out features, or I mean,
For example,
Linear has
like
done it, I guess, but
yeah,
I
I was
don't. I
just
don't
going to
actively
say
use Linear.
yeah,
Yeah. Go ahead.
we would like use Linear for everything. Basically, our whole project management is in there, even like marketing and all of that. And they
Hmm.
recently added a lot, and so far I haven't seen anything get worse. So that's kind of the first product. I like the shitification was horrible for Notion, in my opinion. It was a cool app at the beginning, and now you can't. In my opinion, you can't use it.
It's bloat, right? It's like a
It just
bunch
doesn't
of
make
bloat.
sense. But linear is still kinda just doing what it should do, and you have more options. And what I also like, you can just disable features in the dashboard. So if you don't like them, you just don't see them, and you don't have to use them.
Mm.
I'm actually super interested. We should maybe have
Get the
an
Linear
episode about
CEO.
project management because
Oh, okay.
I think Asama, you're also on Notion now, right? I use Notion because my clients use Notion, so I'm kind of forced.
Yeah, I've been using Notion for the past like week. I thought it would be something I would try for a day and not stick for one reason or another, but I found it surprisingly fine, honestly.
It is
But
bad though, right? Like the performance, startup. it actually bothers me. I'm surprised that it doesn't bother you more because it
I just
bothers
wanted to
me.
say, like last week we had the talk about like snappy coding editors and everything, and
Yeah,
now
I know, I
you're
know, I
using Notion.
know.
It's
I'm
like,
like burning all my
Maybe you're not
credibility.
using. I think as no the problem I've seen as Notion grows, like as you do more with Notion, it gets
yeah, more pages
significantly
and more like
worse.
sub pages.
Like
Yeah.
once you have like interconnected
Mm.
like databases and tables,
Oh, I
it
don't.
gets like,
I
it's
stick
complete
to
mess.
I all of my pages. It's either a Kanban board or it's literally just text. I never use
Dude,
any advanced
like I can
feature.
only I can really recommend, like had a time where I was a lot into productivity tools, so I basically tried each
Mm-hmm.
to-do list out there. Nowadays
Yeah.
I mostly use my alarm clock for to-do list, but the nice thing about Linear is we have it for like the company, and then we just have a team for each like private person. So I have a team for myself, which is invisible to
So
the other guys, and I just use
right.
that for personal to-dos as well, because the iPhone app is also really great. So you have one thing
Okay.
and you just pay the plan once, and it kind of works for everything. Nowadays, you can even review PRs inside of the app, and everything's linked perfectly. Like it's just super nice to use. It's just super flawless.
Yeah. I mean,
Save
for me,
this
I
discussion maybe to next week
Yeah, yeah. Let's
because
do
I
that.
think it's
yeah,
actually
yeah.
super. I'm super curious about because I tried using Linear and I think it's interesting that you're using it with for marketing and non-tech stuff because I thought maybe I was too retarded to use it, but
You can put Markdown everywhere. Like you can
okay.
literally put whole
Maybe
documents,
is this
attachments,
was this
everything.
always the case? Because I remember Linear as being like GitHub issues focused. Or
Yeah,
maybe I'm
but
just
quite long since they introduced projects. In projects, you
okay.
can put full
Okay,
Markdown. Every you can
so
also
this is
like
like recent
subtasks
or
and
not
every.
really?
I'd say 2 years
Okay,
or
yeah,
more or
it might
something.
have been 2 years actually since I've tried it. Okay, but this is actually super interesting. Maybe I don't want to cut it off. Like, did you want to say anything?
I think it's nice to have an episode about that kind of.
Yeah, because I think
Yeah.
we can. I because I tried a bunch of stuff. I also tried Obsidian. I
Also
also
use that.
tried literally just having fucking Discord channels as yeah, it works with some clients.
Yeah.
It's fine. But yeah. So I can talk about mine. I guess I don't know. Yeah, I don't even know how to talk about it because it was all over the place again. But basically, what I did the last few weeks was redesigning. So this was the initial thing we had for this car dealership project, right? Car dealership AI for car dealerships thing, client project, and it was like I don't fuck with it myself. Like it's glass. I'm not a fan of glass. Plus gradients. I'm also not the biggest fan of gradient. Like these Apple intelligence type gradients. So I was super happy that we managed to move away from this and we basically boomerified it.
Yeah, it looks
So
for
this
like a
was like a
dentist's
major
website.
boomerification, right? Where we have like guys in the hero, right? But yeah, so I worked on this and so this week and last week I also redid the entire dashboard. One thing I actually really like, and I think we should also do it for zero credit SMR, is this inspector thing because it fills up the all the dead space you usually have in dashboards. So that's actually
Yeah.
I think a super nice pattern. And how I implemented it is also nice because basically I always have these. So all my dashboards in eventually end up having like a page wrapper, right? That's what happens.
Yeah.
Which it, you might think SMR it's stupid, but imagine I
No.
didn't have page wrapper and it was like, imagine it was composable, right? You would need to know every single component, right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah. I
it's
get you.
complete ass, right? And page wrapper,
Yeah.
I think if it was next, I would just call it layout
Layouts.
something,
It
right?
would just
It
be a
would be,
layout. Yeah.
but yeah. So it's like super nice, and I think I'm just gonna do the same thing for zero credit, and we can put all kinds of stuff there, which is interesting. Also, another thing, which we have like a lot of long running processes, so I kind of came up with this pattern where I don't know if you understand it at first glance,
Yep.
constantly because you obviously don't know, but it's
Probably
like
background tasks or something.
exactly yeah. So we would generate something, right? For example, we have like scribes, right, which are audio recordings, and they get processed. So as you're recording and as you're processing, this would be like live, right? Which is kind of nice because we used to have all kinds of toasts, and I think toasts are kind of ass in
Yep.
general.
Toasts are
Especially if you
like,
have
yeah,
more than one.
If you have
yeah,
more
it's
than
like
one, it's
last gen.
super ass. And then for non-text, right? I think for non-text, it's just confusing.
Yep.
Yeah.
So yeah, this was like part one of my week, and then part two is this. So Zero Credit is going to have an update soon, and we're gonna call it business update, business something. And the plan is to make business access free, because right now we don't have any, like we have like a few businesses on Zero Credit, but not many, and we need to change that. So what happens is businesses are going to be able to sign up for free, and then we're going to have a public job board thing, where it's a pretty standard job board. The only difference, and I think this is interesting, I kind of want to lean into this verification going both ways, where the jobs actually do have to exist. So we are going to vet them. Obviously, there might be some stuff that, like, we might get businesses that lie to us or something, but we can remove them. Like, I basically just want to have a vetted job board. Like, it's not, I don't want to have like 500,000 jobs and 80% of them are actually dead ghost jobs. I want to have like actual jobs. And
SEO
even if
bro in
it's
shambles right now.
who?
SEO bros in shambles right now.
Yeah.
Dude,
Also, that
Yeah,
like
HR
it's one of the
they
girl.
are
nicest.
gonna.
I think it's one of the or like easiest SEO like gray hat techniques is to like add structured data with job postings. Literally boosts pages like crazy.
I don't know if it actually does, to be honest, because all my
Like
clients.
we know it for like my old business partner where I did like freelancing websites with. We like he had some of them in Ahrefs, and it boosted like it was actually job postings, but it boosted like for smaller pages that don't have that much like page rank yet. It did crazy work.
Yeah, the thing is, I don't know. Like this is I for every single client project I do need to implement some of job posting, right? Even though I know that these companies are not hiring at the moment, so all of them have it, and I don't know about actual SEO impact. I assume maybe I'm not an SEO guy, so I usually don't fucking care about this. So and I also don't have the stats, but they don't get too many applications because when they're actually hiring, they are coming back to me and they're like, "Yo, we need your help," right?
Oh
So
yeah,
it's like,
those guys also didn't get like
so you think it's just a
applications.
boost,
It was
right? But
just like the
not.
number on like page visits was just like
But I think that's also crawlers or something, right? Like
yeah.
it's not actual people.
No, it's just like I think it's just adding like the structured data, like just adding the text, right? This is an
JSON LD
article, yeah,
garbage.
JSON,
Yeah,
this
yeah,
shit,
yeah.
FAQ,
I'm not. I
JSON
think.
LD, and all of that.
I think there's like because I thought about it, right? When it comes to job boards, it's like such a fucking underserved. Obviously, there's a lot of them, right? But it's always such a fucking garbage experience. Like, do you know a single good job board? I don't.
X.
X jobs is good, isn't it gone?
No, not X jobs, just like the M's and shit.
Using X for jobs, yeah. Because LinkedIn is totally garbage, right?
Yeah.
And then all the like regional job boards it's ass because it's regional.
Oh, and also they're like out of sync all the time. Like
Yeah.
you sometimes press on a job and then it's just not there anymore, and then it links to a page that doesn't exist anymore. And
Yeah. So SMR and I are working
Yeah,
on that.
if we figure that out, that would be sick. If we figure out like the syncing thing, like how to get businesses to sort of keep it up to date or whatever, or maybe have like a default expiration. I don't know, but
I
if we can
think
have that and have it high quality, like the content to be high quality.
that's actually interesting. Maybe it
Yeah,
should be like a dead man's switch type thing where
yeah,
if like, because if you're where we make them sign in, right? For example,
yeah.
you
If you don't
need to
check up
sign
on
in.
it,
Exactly. And if they
yeah,
don't, we just trash it after
kill
a
it.
certain time.
Yeah, yeah,
Or I guess in the future it's going to be paid, right? I think that's
yeah. Or
another
we could
way.
just derank it, like we could
D-rank,
derank it so
yeah.
that new jobs also get like that dopamine hit of like, oh, I posted a thing and I got
dopamine hit.
It's like this, right? We could
yeah.
also
Bro,
do
recently
something like
watched the Social Network.
we could do also something like this, right? Where it's like maybe we show them some UI, like the actual people applying.
Mm, yeah,
Like
yeah.
this basically it's like
Usually, Yeah.
last logged in, or like, yeah, exactly, last usually responds in
Yeah.
Never.
1 million years.
2 days,
Or we just put
right?
that HR lady picture, that smiling HR lady. Or
Never responded.
Yeah, but there's some. I think it's actually super interesting. It sounds boring, right? But if you think about it, there's so many people looking for a job,
so true.
and LinkedIn is expensive as fuck for companies. That's the other thing,
Yep.
right? So I think making it free, obviously we lose on cash, but the thing is,
If we
and SMR
gain,
told me about this, I think we should have probably made it free from the beginning, like business side of things, because we are a double-sided marketplace, right? It's like if we don't have businesses, we don't have devs.
But then again, like for people looking for a job, do they like want to pay to get a job? Like what I was thinking about before was more like of a, it's hard to do, right? But like commission, if something like, if it works, people would always like try to get around that and just do it like off market kind of. But like if you think about like it's free for a business, okay, business is hiring, but then let's say you
It's also
don't have
free
a
for
job and you're
devs, though,
broke.
right?
Okay,
We have like we give everyone 3 free credits, and we might even bump that to
okay.
like
Like
10
I
or
also
20.
made a profile and like with I think 3 credits is a little bit,
Too few.
yeah.
Yeah, we can bump it. We have discussed it. I think most people don't have more than 3 projects, to be honest, but yeah, we could definitely bump it, and I think in the future
And also, I
we'll
think it's kind of
see, right?
heavily front end coded. Like, what project would you link if you would be a
No,
backender?
no, no. That's also something that's coming in the future. I think so. One thing I might even squeeze it into this update is video. I just want to have video because I had this other idea. I don't know if we were mutuals back then, but I basically had this other idea. It was called Talent Reel, right? This was their fucking domain. I even had like an MVP for this. Um, because I think imagine you have like a feed of people and it's video based, right? And this is obviously not for technical people, but this would be for non-tech people, right? Let's say I'm looking for a PM. Business is looking for PM. Like, wouldn't you want to have like someone just like 60-second intro? You could skip the call, like you could skip the initial
Vibe
background
check.
check you always do, right? So this is something. So I kind of want to have videos as a verification method, and then we'll figure something out, I guess, for like back-end people. Um, I don't
The
really know
But like,
what.
it would be like a little bit turn into YouTubers, but like having like the possibility to put stuff on your on like videos where you just walk through a code base, for example, would be kind of nice, I think.
Yeah, basically just
Oh,
want to have like on your public profile, I want to have video support, right?
Yeah.
So I think one thing would
yeah.
be personal intro, right? Where, and obviously it's like it's
Wait,
gonna
can I
be,
like
it might
before I
be
lose
race,
it?
right?
Sorry, before I lose
Yeah.
it, think about that. Like a company can post something like a survey, for example, because I always thought like hiring with puzzles and shit is random, but maybe something like first point is pick a project you did, show me the most like crucial part in the architecture and demonstrate the hot path for the data or something, and then you have to walk through like record the answer to all of these segments and have to like
Yeah, and
submit that.
best
That would be
case,
kind of
right?
nice because then companies could have like a like structured way of evaluating. Not everyone would just send a random video because some people would just yap for 15 minutes and don't get to the point. So you could have like like a minute per segment, and then you could review it like in order, and you as a dev could just pull up any repo and go through it.
Yeah,
Flex
that
with your Vim skills and shit.
I don't know about. So what I definitely want to do is I want to give them the option to have max time, right? Because that's a huge issue. Like I can't justify looking at like checking out like a 5 minute long video, probably, right? If you get 500 applications, it's not going to work. But yeah, so like I think it's a good idea to. So my initial idea was obviously just like reels, right? You would fucking put your phone up and you would just record into it. You would introduce yourself. But this could work for everything, right? This could work for, as you said, walking through a code base. And I think video is pretty much the only way to do this, right? How else would it work?
Yeah, do you guys know this guy on Twitter? Gabriel? It's loading on. I don't know if it's me uploading or you downloading. There you go.
Yeah, sure.
This
Yeah.
account. Yeah, so like he got his job at OpenAI. He like I don't know if you've seen the video, but he made a video of himself. If for those who don't know, he made a video of this like Rust library that he used to virtualize like millions of rows in a table.
Thanks, by the way.
And he made like a 5 minute video. He measured it with 6 times CPU slowdown. Command F still worked. Um, and he got into OpenAI. And he also shares a lot of his friends. I think he's from like Poland or something. He's from like a European, like maybe
I
an
think
Eastern
it's
European
Swedish, right?
country.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh, maybe. But he has point is he has like a lot of European friends that he basically like unofficially just coaches to sort of make a cool project, and then like record themselves or whatever, and then they get a job at. I think all of them are OpenAI, but it's like a Silicon Valley, very high paying AI job in particular. And like I think that demonstrates that like if there's like a lot of power in like video, I guess, because like what when Constantine said if somebody could like walk through a project, because like if you saw his video, I don't know him. I've never. I think I don't even follow him, but I should. But if you saw the video of him explain like the Rust thing, there's so much unsaid in a video that gets communicated, and you just sort of understand like, oh, okay, I'm speaking with like a person who knows their stuff, let's say, et cetera, et cetera. And so I think having videos, and like we could even from the app perspective, we could like suggest a couple of type of videos. We could say, oh, maybe an intro call or something that you've worked on, or blah blah blah, and then link a couple of examples.
Yeah, and
But I
I
think
think
that
it
really
would be
proves.
like obviously
Yeah.
your choice, but I think it would be the nicest if the companies can set chapters for it. Because like if I was thinking I would hire a backend dev and he would like you don't know like you get a lot of applications, right? And
Right.
I would have like a 15-second thing or 30-second thing show me one crucial part in your architecture, and this guy would basically just boot up a standard HTTPS server or something, and that would be the crucial part. I wouldn't need to look further. But if it's
Yep.
like a 60-second thing and he can do in the like order he wants to, I'd say, okay, do I have to watch the whole thing? Maybe there's something smart at the end,
Yep.
but maybe something
Yeah.
I
I mean,
don't
the
even want to
60
see.
seconds would have been for like non-text, right?
Yeah.
So my initial idea for video, obviously um, backend also is pretty good for that, right? Because you can showcase stuff that's maybe not even live, or not accessible. For front end, I don't think it makes a lot of sense because you would always rather have something that's deployed. At least that's how I hire,
Right.
right? If a front end dev has no projects, it's basically over in my mind, usually, right? So, but yeah, I agree. Like for backend devs, for actual technical people, we should probably have chapters and max time. That's probably good. And I don't know if you know the zero cred add job thing. It's like super customizable. So I think we will just do the same for videos. So people can have chapter based stuff, but they could also just have like, I don't know, maybe some company wants to have just 15-minute video, right? And
He uses his
that's
alarm
it.
for to dos.
Yeah.
My camera is dropping. Right? Why is this happening?
All right. Yeah, we can continue, right?
Yeah, let's go to the next one.
Yeah, so there's one more thing. I was
Oh
also
yeah.
in my free time. I was working on. I don't know if you guys know Lucky Mirror.
Yeah, I saw
I
it. Yeah,
wanted to
but
ship it like earlier this year, um, but I kind of dropped it. Um, and now I'm back on it basically. And what I did was I wanted to check out like because I have this pixel art aesthetic, right? I wanted to check out how liquid ass looks because I thought it might look nice, but it actually looks like ass. So,
unfortunate.
but I'm gonna ship this probably this year.
But what
That's
is
the
it
plan.
exactly about? You can gamble for food or something?
No, basically it's like random restaurant discovery. It's like, I think the idea is actually golded. It's just I tried launching it with local creators, but they were a pain in the ass, and then I dropped the entire project because they were annoying as fuck. So basically, how it works is you tap this one button, right, and you get a random restaurant, and this gives you a lot of opportunities, right? This is like goaded for
Rigging the
local
algo.
businesses, and yeah, I wouldn't call it rigging, right? But they could be like they could pay and increase their chances, right? That's how it would work. And then no, the thing is this, right? You get like that's how TripAdvisor and all the others work too, right? You can
Right.
sponsor. You can. Bro, why are you guys?
Because like,
Cartel, I'm
is
just
that
calling.
No, look,
like
look. Here's how it would actually work. There would be rigging, but it would be transparent, right? How it would work is,
okay?
no, hear me out. Hear me
You should
out.
Yeah,
just open a casino, dude.
No, hear me out. There would be deals, right? So
right.
if so, how it works is how it works right now is I'm just using Google Maps businesses API, right? So I'm just grabbing all the restaurants in Vienna. I have like a weird ass algorithm that because Google Maps doesn't have actual cuisine types. So I what I did was I mapped all the tags they assign automatically. So for example, there is a tag that's called Greek, right?
Yeah.
So I map Greek to Mediterranean cuisine. And there's a bunch of them, right? There's like 20 tags for each cuisine type. And Google doesn't allow you to cache, so I don't cache that. It's like being assigned at runtime. So what happens is basically you tab and you get a Google business, right? It's not really that exciting, but the plan is, or like how it's actually going to work is, I want to incentivize businesses to sign up, and if they sign up, they get an increased chance, and they can further increase that chance if they add a deal. And that's a win-win, right? That's a win-win for the users and the business, right? So they can add a deal, and if a restaurant has a deal, it's automatically like 10% more likely to show up, which is good, right? Because the user wants to
Yeah,
get a deal, right? So it's like it's
yeah,
not even that scammy in
yeah,
my
yeah.
mind, at least. Obviously, I could rig it insanely in the backend, but that wasn't my plan, or isn't my plan. The plan is to give increased chance to businesses with deals and decreased chance to everyone else, right?
You basically describe politics in like one
Right.
sentence.
But yeah, like I get what he's trying to get at. I
But it
think
would
this
be
is a
free,
cool
Yeah,
right? It would
idea.
be totally
it's
free.
cool. It's a cool idea,
It's,
definitely.
for what kind of restaurants it is, it's like restaurants that might not be, might have an ass location, right?
Yeah,
Like you would never walk by it. It's just like a not really frequented area. And this is like, if this pops off, right? Which that's also why it looks like that. It's not just a gimmick. I think what I wanted to create is like a flashy experience, so people would naturally share it, right? So they would maybe record their phones, and they
yeah,
would
yeah.
click this button. It's like a flashy animation, and also the plan. Obviously, I can't guarantee that this ever happens, but the plan would be that people, because you get limited amount of spins each day, so the plan would
You have
be
to
to
buy new spins.
incentivize like a social media. No. I don't want to monetize users, but the plan would be to have like a social media type challenge where you would need to go to the first spin, for example. You get the idea? So it would be like this would be content basically for food creators. I don't know how familiar you are with like TikTok food creators,
Yeah.
but they are basically they would benefit a lot from having this app, right? Because I think they need to pull stuff out of their ass, right?
Yeah.
They need to find restaurants they can go to.
Like,
Which
can I
That's
get
smart.
like set a range or something? Because like
yeah, you can set a range. You can pick the cuisine type, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you can even I even have like options like halal and stuff, right? So you can
You should also add
um,
shitty restaurants, so the worst rated ones.
yeah, that's interesting, right?
Oh, that's good
As
content.
this
Yeah.
grow no look as this grows, it's like it gets super interesting, right? Because if you think about it, and that's how because Chaz and I were pitching it to VCs already, start of this year. The growth loop is kind of hard to explain, right? You saw I had to explain it to you for like 10 minutes. This is like hard to explain. That's why I think it would be best if I had this app out. People were already using it because it's a free app, right? I'll be paying for all the Google Maps garbage API costs. But if this app is out and people make content using it, I think I don't have to explain it anymore. And then I can explain what my plan is with this, right? Because my plan is this could be food, like a restaurant platform that's actually legit, right? We could have legit reviews because all the reviews online are fake, right? Google Maps reviews are fake, TripAdvisor is fake. I could actually, this being an app, right? I would know which restaurants people go to. Like I could implement that, right? I could have like you would claim your deal by going to the restaurant and pulling up your phone. The restaurant owner or like cashier would like, or like the waiter, they would scan, or like I don't know, maybe it's like Bluetooth, I don't know, but they would communicate with the user, and that's how I would know that the user actually went there, and only then could they give a review, right?
Right.
Which is like super interesting, I think. Obviously, maybe like it's kind of like hard to say. It might be that the aesthetic is like too niche, which I'm totally down with just swapping it out with something else, like making it cleaner, for example. So we got some feedback. Obviously, some restaurants, right? If you're like sit down, high society type restaurant, it might not be it.
But you're not target audience anyways, I'd say.
Yeah, I don't really care about them, right? That's the thing. Like why we were even talking to restaurants is obviously we want to have like a B2B situation, right? Where we want to have restaurant partners. And then yeah, there's also another angle, but it might go too deep. Because another problem restaurant owners have is getting in contact with creators, right? So if you pull in the creator side as well, and you offer like a B2B plan that hooks up restaurants with creators, then it gets super interesting, right? But
Yeah.
and this was the problem why I dropped this project, because I was working with creators and they are a pain in the ass. Like I need to figure out some way to get creators on board. This was
Especially
basically
like TikTok. Like my girlfriend was doing like the TikTok brand management and marketing for
they are
a
so
larger company,
unserious.
and
It's
like
so
all the
weird.
UGC creators and all of them are like really, let's say, unprofessional at
They are
times.
unreliable as fuck. Like
They
I
just don't
hooked them
show up
up.
and stuff like that.
Exactly, yeah. I hooked them up with like restaurants they could go to. They would get a free meal. They would get paid. They just didn't go, you know.
Yeah.
And some of the like sometimes the owners even like cleared out the restaurant, right? It was like they opened an hour
Nice.
early and then nobody came, right?
Yeah.
It was like annoying as it was cringe as fuck.
Yeah.
But yeah, I started working on this again.
Plus, probably like an old restaurant owner. Not to make it worse, but it's probably an old restaurant owner. And he's like,
Yeah,
man, these
obviously, right? It
workers
was
snappers.
restaurant owners that didn't know, right? Because
Yeah.
those who do know, they don't need this service.
Yeah, they're
But
locked in. Yeah.
yeah, yeah,
You
yeah.
need,
And
you need
this,
to
I'm
make
just
zero
gonna
cred
put this to next week
for these
because
guys.
I also started working on Godot, but I think it might be too long of a yap. Okay. So you don't have this week, right, SMR? Do you want to talk
I
about your
don't.
week or not?
I don't have it ready. I think if we, what time is it? If we talk about one other topic, I could just prepare the notes.
Okay. So what do you want to start with? This is yours, right, SMR? Ageism
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
You want to start? Okay, so we should not start with that, right?
Yeah. How long is this gonna go? Do you have like a time cap?
I don't think we need to do all of them. We can
No, we
move
can
some of
Yeah.
them
Yeah.
to
That's
next
we can
week.
just
why.
tease them for next week.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think this ageism is
So
actually cool. We can tease it as well or talk about it today.
yeah,
But
I
I
think
think
because this is a long topic, right? I have a lot of
yeah.
stuff to say about this.
Yeah.
Um, yeah. What do you connect with more, Constantine? What would you say?
I don't know what left is about.
This is about
I would go with
basically
love.
we talked about it a lot, SMR, about like open source
Hmm.
businesses.
Ah, okay.
Um, it's a long discussion potentially, right? Um, this is like I don't even know what this talk was about. I just put it there because
I think that
I don't like the guy. That's why I
Really,
put it here.
DHH
I
is
don't
kind of
like
cool.
him. Yeah, I thought you would like him. As somehow you like him too, right? It's like just
I don't mind
me
him.
and you.
Obviously, I don't like Ruby and whatever. But like I think directionally, principally,
Yeah.
there's certainly a kernel of truth to what he
No,
saw.
that's for sure. I don't think he's like a total nut job. Just think he's kind of annoying. I don't like him
He is
as
annoying, yeah,
I
but
wouldn't be
what I'll
around.
take,
I wouldn't
I'll
want to
take
be around him
annoying.
basically.
This is so cringe, but I'll take annoying truth over
Or what?
Pleasant
over pleasant,
comfort.
exactly, over
Yeah.
apathy. Let's say.
I think
Speaks like a
we could maybe
So
talk about this,
true.
right? Today. Should we talk about because we talked about it a bunch in the past and
Have
we
we?
talked about wanting to talk about it. The fucking Code Rabbit
Oh
and
yeah,
PR
I haven't
tools.
tried it yet.
Oh
I
yeah.
have not tried it either, but I just wanted to yap about it.
Yeah, like
I will. So I haven't tried it either. This is like the Nietzsche
Do
argument.
you
Like
guys
nobody.
think we should try it first?
yeah,
Yeah, I
maybe.
think we should read Nietzsche
I
first
think we
before
can.
before
I think
before
my
I mean,
talking
only
I'm not
about
take
going
right
to
now is
try
Nietzsche.
my
Devin,
only
right?
only
We're just
take no
gonna.
no no only take right now is that like right still I think we're in a phase where small and thoughtful changes over a code base are better with AI than long running stuff. So doing AI on whole PRs and a lot of like code on long running tasks and like I don't really see a benefit of just going in there with Cloud Code real quick and do it myself. But I think I should try it first.
I think Code Rabbit is actually good, to be
Hmm.
honest, because
I
I've
think
seen
it's
a lot
good as
of
well.
people I trust. Um, I mean, some of them are lapos, right? We like, I've made some bad experiences, and Decima was there too with like AI engineers. But even people who aren't like totally AI built do like Code Rabbit. So I think it has to be good to a certain degree at least.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Um,
it seems like one of those things. Like once you try, you can't go back. Because even I have never tried it, and I think it's fine. But like,
yeah, because
especially
it
from
doesn't do things, I think, right? It just gives you
exactly
some input
Yeah.
and then you can either ignore it. It's super easy to ignore, right? You just don't look at or you don't even make a PR in the first place. Um,
right, and I think the its output must be incredibly high quality because it's not really solving a problem. It's just providing a luxury, basically. You could say. And
yeah.
if something's just provided is not solving a problem, yet people keep talking about it, then it must be a very pleasant addition to your whatever experience that integrates in, right? So
Yeah, so I guess we should try. I do want to try this garbage out as well. I think this is like,
yeah, 100%.
I mean,
Same.
maybe it's good actually, but I don't have high hopes to be honest. I think since the
Mm,
AI guy left, Vassell has
yeah.
kind of been dropping the ball.
What is
Well,
Versal Agent? I haven't seen that even.
It's apparently something that is like security focused or something,
Oh, okay. Yeah, because
which
like all of the like vibe coded leaks of
mm,
I
everything and data and
it kind of makes sense if you look at it like that, right? Like it's good for their target audience, I guess.
yep.
Um, I kind of want to try it out on like a thing that has a vulnerability, you know? Like see if it actually. I mean, obviously it's going to find it, but I want to see what the output is like. And then Devin, I just put it because it's Devin, right? I just and this is actually interesting. I don't know if you saw this company. It's like a YC company. So maybe read this for next time.
yeah,
Um, I think the idea is interesting, right? It's like this is actually this is their wording.
gotcha. We can go through my week. I wrote the notes already.
Okay, cool.
Um,
Should I pull up the
so
UI for workflows or not? Because
is there
no, it's
even
disabled, right?
yeah, it's disabled. But like basically for the AI for Palantir, I guess we could call it Palantir for car dealerships that we're building. Um, where I implemented like like a working POC of like workflows, which would be basically similar to what actually OpenAI released for Austrian car dealerships, which is even better.
No, no, no.
Um,
It's going to go
it's gonna be
global.
global, yeah, it's gonna go global. But similar to like the NA10 sort of like automation thing that OpenAI released like a couple days ago, I think. It's basically that, but sort of deeply integrated with the software that we're building, and like I wanted to build this in a way where like because it's easy to make a proof of concept that just sort of works very tightly coupled with what you have, but like writing the code and structuring things in a way that like you can add things and it's sort of expandable and it's easy to work with for like for ideas that you haven't even thought about. Um,
This is in your
that was
keyboard
my
is super loud, by the way. Just
Mine's okay.
yeah.
Sorry.
PM.
I just
For
wanted to
PM.
point it out because you
Yeah,
were
yeah, no,
talking,
no.
right? It's like
Yeah, yeah, I know, I get you, I get you, I get you.
sorry to
But like that's
interrupt.
what I was basically working on for Lisa, and I have some interesting ideas. Other than that, I set up the dev environment for Suabase again for Zero Cred, and I also started learning OCaml because Golang is just not pleasant
Wait,
to
you
work with.
hate Golang? I thought you
Listen,
were a Go guy.
so I liked Golang because I've built like simple projects with Go, and the thing about Go is, I mean, honestly, you could force it to be good if you used functional, because it does allow for functional patterns. You could literally just define a function and call it like right then and there. But it's simple to a fault, I'd say. It's incredibly simple to a fault, and like the fact that it's so imperative, the lack of type safety, like everything is just so lackluster, in my opinion. Like it would need to have the performance of like literal C for it to justify the just lack of like the developer experience. I don't even know what to compare it with. It
I
feels
think
like
it's really weird.
writing.
It's really interesting that
Yeah.
you're mentioning that because like I like Go a lot when I started using it, and
Hmm.
then I wrote a client. Did a client project in it, and it got bigger and bigger, and at some point I started hating it. And it's
Yeah,
kind of
it's
it's super
so.
nice for small stuff if you do like just a quick
Yeah,
little server here and some calls here, but if you do more of it,
yeah,
also I think it's kind of weird with it's obvious, but like you get those circular dependencies. I think you get them quite fast, and it's kind of iffy
yeah,
to structure your code base, and then I don't know.
yeah. It's just lackluster. It's the only term I could, because it's not bad. It's just lackluster. It feels like drinking juice, but it's like 90% water, and it's just like just give me water, dude. Like this sucks. Just give me something
Yeah.
real. Give me TypeScript. Honestly, give me TypeScript. Give me
Ooh,
OCaml.
that's a
Like,
wild take.
dude, it's just like you know
That's the
Why
clip
not
of the
Rust
week,
though?
I think.
Rust as well. I know this would come up when I said OCaml instead of Rust. The only
Do you
reason,
like Rust for networking, Constantine? Do you
What do you
fuck
mean?
with it?
Like
I
networking code or like networking people?
networking
meeting
code,
meeting Rust, meeting
like
other Rust
backend,
developers.
To yeah,
Rust backends.
for that I like it.
Do you like it?
I like it a lot for like to be honest, I'm not sure. I wrote some Python a while ago, but I'm not sure if I used anything other than Rust recently. I even use it like nowadays. I even use it for simple scripts.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I hear that a
I
lot from
that's
Rust
how
developers.
I so I use Rust like in production. I used it once in like a Tory thing. Like this is I shipped this to a client, like in a Tory app, but it wasn't much to be honest. Like it was
And
just interfacing with like system and stuff, right? And I tried shipping it to a client as a backend like microservice, but it was so fucking convoluted, and maybe it was skill issue. Probably it was, to be honest. But I didn't really like it. And then,
I think it's super good for like coding with AI because like for me it's like the type system is great, and I think there's so much additional context from the type system and the really strict compiler that you can basically once you like what I try to do is always to like kind of map out just the structs like the basic idea of the flow and the logic, then set up like some methods, don't even implement them, just basically set up a scaffold of what I'm thinking about, and then just send off AI and just let it loop through the compiler errors and fix everything.
so it's like TRPC land, right?
It's
Basically, kind
yeah,
of.
you kind of map out what you want to do with the type system as well as you can, and then you just send it off.
That's
And a
why I
lot of times
don't
it works well.
see. That's why I can't really see. I mean, obviously it does work, right? People are using it, but do you remember the AI engineering repo we saw, SMR, up there,
Yeah,
Python thing?
yeah,
If this was TypeScript, I'm sure it would be way better because it would just have
yeah. It would
types, right? And
scream. It would just
you know,
scream. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
so I think I don't get why people still use. Like all the JS people, for example, right? I think it's so fucking stupid
Like
because
They still exist.
unless you use JSDoc, right? I guess JSDoc is
Yeah,
also
exactly.
fine. But without like working without types, it's bad for AI, right? Always.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I've most recently seen it, and obviously this is like a niche language, right? But I don't know if you know about it. So Godot has this GD script, which is basically Python, kinda. It's like GD. I don't even know how it's typed, but it's like GD script, right? Godot script, which is like a scripting language, and it has types, but you don't like it also infers, right? It's like kind of like DS. And once you drop the types, it's AI gets so fucking retarded, and it just goes off the rails so easily.
And
Yeah,
And also, I think there are plenty benefits also to Rust with just tooling and like small things. I think even like if you work on different projects, it's great because like just something like cargo docs dash dash open, it's just great. It just opens all the docs for all the like first your own docs for your own code, and if you write a library or
it
even
also
in a
does
library,
all the crates, right?
and also all the crates you're using. So you basically have everything you need in there and nothing more. So it's super nice if you just go into a code base again after a few weeks or even sometimes a few days, just like cargo docs open and you just read through everything there.
Man,
And
Rust is so nice if you don't have fucking internet. Like you
yeah,
remember SMR, we talked about coding on trains, like
yeah,
yesterday,
I
right?
coded in a plane with Rust. It's super,
Bro, it's
super
so
awesome.
nice. You have everything, right? The compiler is just awesome, telling you what's going wrong. Then
Yeah.
the docs, it's awesome. But it still feels so fucking cumbersome to me. I don't know why. Probably just because I'm not used to it.
Yeah, I think it's like I'm thinking currently like even what's the point of, it might sound stupid, but what's the point currently of not writing anything in Rust? Because I got the idea of Python pre LLMs. You could just kind of write how you thought about it
Yeah.
more
Yeah.
in language, but now I can just type it in a coding agent in natural
Yeah.
language anyways. So there's
Yeah.
literally no downside to use something with more typing. I can always make it better. I can add types. I can make it faster, whatever. And the initial effort is the same as writing a Python script. I'd even say, like, I even argue that even if
It's
you're,
even easier. Yeah. Probably.
yeah,
Right.
if you even if you're good at Python, you would write with like Claude or whatever. You would write a Python or like a Rust script with Claude faster than a Python script without it.
Yeah.
And like if you clone it anyways, I'm pretty sure like cloning a Python script isn't faster than cloning a Rust script because it's just same inference.
Yeah.
So
I think it's a still though. I don't know. I would not feel comfortable. Like I felt comfortable shipping the Tori app because I basically it's kind of like Electron and I know Electron, so it was fine. And also it wasn't critical, right? The system stuff we did, it was like screen sharing. It wasn't too bad. But shipping like a backend in Rust, I don't know. Obviously, it's like the compiler is like makes it super safe, but I would not feel comfortable vibe coding a backend in Rust and not understanding all
oh
of
yeah,
it. You know,
yeah, you should kind of understand it. Yeah.
that's why I feel hesitant on using it. And
Mhm.
also, I and this is where we do, and you wanted to talk about it today, Asama, right? But I think we maybe move it to next week
Yeah. Yeah.
about over engineering. I think, and we can talk about this maybe, and we can use code snippets to illustrate this. I still
Yes.
have this opinion of shipping the dumbest code
Yeah.
just so
Dark
everyone
rain.
can read it. You know, that's how I see it. But that's because I'm coming from a point of client work. Like 90% of my work is client work, and I just don't want to create overhead, right? Because I know what ends up happening. Like it's hiring problems. It's yeah, that's why I ship TypeScript, and that's why I don't really even see myself
But then like
learning Rust, you know,
again, I
in the
think
near future.
even if you like maybe it's a dumb take, but I think if you read past some stuff, I'd argue Rust is super readable. If you have written any programming language before, like you just like, I think it's the same as reading English because like I'm not native. If I read an English book and there's one word at the
But
beginning of the
there's
sentence and one
gotchas,
word at the
right?
end, I can
There's got.
infer, right?
I don't think I actually don't agree because I think Rust is a super weird language when it comes to the borrow checker. and stuff.
Yeah,
It's
but
not
just reading
something.
what's going on, that's what I mean. It's just like if you read through like main.rs, I'm pretty
Yeah.
confident everyone who could read TypeScript code could
Obviously, because
understand what's going on there.
it's like everyone who read C. I'm not, but that's not reading and understanding to me, right? Like I don't know, maybe I have like higher standards, but um, it's they are not going to understand the ins and outs, right? Of the unless it's like super trivial, I guess, and it's
I
just
think it
printing
depends because
something.
like most of the times, like if you're like I think if you're not writing like distributed systems or something complex, most of the times you write retarded Rust code. You can even like copy and clone all the way because it's gonna be faster than anything or not anything else. You can do faster in like C or assembly, but it's gonna be fast. It's gonna be like compare just with TypeScript. You can
So
write the
yeah.
shittiest Rust code and it will be faster than
Okay,
TypeScript.
I get where you're coming from. So basically, you don't really care about it because baseline, it's always going to be like
Yeah,
10x faster
and
anyway.
if you
Yeah, yeah,
need
yeah.
to, you can always make it better, refactor it, make it faster. But you have a start like basic Rust is literally like jazz. Like if you write retarded Rust, like I like this guy Cash Crab on X. He's like a really crack kid, and he taught me a lot of like how I think about Rust. And he already said like you can write like JS Rust and you can write performant Rust, and both of them are quite quite a different thing. So if you just write TS Rust at the beginning, everyone can read it, and it's not performant, and everyone who's good at like Rust and an elitist would like scream at it. But I'd say I write 99% of TS Rust because I'm not that good in Rust. I don't do like super advanced stuff with it. I just like it because like LLMs are great with it, and you can map out what should happen, and I think most importantly like negative space. Like for me, it's just like super nice feeling to know that if something shouldn't happen in my program, and I designed the type right, it can't happen, and that just gives you so much like confidence, and even refactoring or doing changes, because like I had it a ton of times in TypeScript. You run an app, you run it, you try different things, and then you get an error, and you're like, dude, what's going on here? That like barely happens in Rust.
Yeah, that's basically why I picked OCaml was because you can model types. And you can do it with TypeScript as well, I guess. I mean, you would need to write proper TypeScript without any's. Um, but like a functional pattern with proper types, like I think those two combine to just make some of the best. It's like low mental overhead. It makes
Exactly.
a very complex task easily. You can model it in a very predictable way, and you're super confident about the model that you have and the code that you write, and that just allows you to sort of tackle project
Yeah.
with speed, obviously, but like just like a confidence and like
Yeah.
a most importantly, I'd say a predictable level of like code output or performance or whatever. Like you can like it's very rare, or it'll be more rare in these types of languages that something takes way longer or has like
Yeah.
infinity tiny bugs of like state issues than your Golang.
I
Golang
always think
Golang
about it
is like
like
hell.
putting all the context or all the stuff you have to have in mind, all the cognitive load, you just put it on your screen. It's not in a
Yeah,
brain anymore, it's on your screen and you can see
yeah,
it. And
yeah,
then you can just work and think about the things you have to think about. But not like,
yeah,
oh, what am I passing in this JS object? Is it like, what's the second field again? How am I like, it's
yeah,
super
yeah,
easy.
yeah. So like it's
I
I'm
like
don't
just
know.
type
not happy.
For
systems
me,
plus
for
functional.
me, it's still right. You're coming from a point of people who like to code, right? And who
Yeah.
like to look at Rust and want to understand it, right? I'm
Yeah.
coming from a point of, and I'm not talking about me, but I'm talking about my clients, right? They hire the cheapest guy after me, right? After I'm done, they will probably, because I don't do maintenance, they'll hire some guy who probably has no passion, right?
Yeah.
And they hire based on, okay, do you know React? They can't even assess people, right? That's why
Yeah.
I think it's even unresponsible. It would be
Mm.
unresponsible for me to ship a Rust backend. Do you get where I'm coming from? Like, obviously,
Yeah.
I could do it, right? And some people would even say, like, yeah, you should, right? Because then you
Kind of
lock
rocking.
them in,
Yeah.
right? But that's not who I am, right? That's actually like it would be horrible if people would even more so feel inclined to be connected to me, right?
Mm.
Because
You want to cut the
it's
leash.
yeah, exactly. I want to once the project is done, I want to be gone. And if it's not that stupid code, it I they will contact me, right? So that's
Yeah.
why for example, when I messaged you today, Asama, about this, in my mind, it's insanely over-engineered. I would literally just have like 5 lines of inline ternary to like render this text. I see your point of writing this, and I think it's nice in theory, but I would never ship it, right? Because I think in what I'm shipping, and this is just not it's not just front end, right? It might also be back end stuff. I think it should be so fucking stupid that even like 80 IQ junior could read it, and if there's a small issue or like they want to have an addition or like change, they can implement it, right? And is it going to be the most optimal setup, performance setup? No, because my clients don't care about fucking performance usually, right? So
Yeah.
it's really super stupid code, and I think I'm not the only one who has this need, right? Most, if not all, non-tech businesses and businesses who are starting to digitalize, right? It's not they are onboarding basically, and you know about them, right, Konstantin? You are familiar with those like old ass businesses, right? They don't
Yeah.
have any requirements, so I think for V1, right, or like even V0, it's fine to ship like garbage, but understandable garbage, you know. That's how I see it. But obviously, this is not really the software engineering
Yeah, I know. This is like
perspective,
more the
right?
realistic, like human perspective.
Yeah, I guess it would be probably it's even depressing, right? For like actual software
No.
engineers, it would be depressing. For me, not
I mean,
really. To be
You can
honest,
just write it normally and then just run codecs with make that stupid.
yeah, I don't. Well, I think should we pull up the example or should
It
we
would kind
still
of help
push
because
it
you guys were
to next
talking
week?
about the ternary, and I was like,
wait,
focusing.
give me, where was it? Visibility model, right?
It's in Telegram, in our chat.
Wait, let me pull it up on here.
Oh, okay, he's gonna open the cursor or whatever.
Am I sharing? I'm not.
We're just sharing that.
Okay, I need to log in and not stop the stream.
Eh,
Wait,
gotcha.
the screen.
Did your internet was it like an outage or did you mess
I
like a
have
cable
no
up or something?
idea. It had to be, right? Because it's like the broadband was just gone.
Mm,
Okay, let's look at that.
we need to zoom in a little bit more, I think. But yeah, okay. And then if we scroll to the
Dude, I'm so happy I haven't seen that in a while.
yeah, render content. I think that's it, right?
So this, right? This is the like this is the pain point, and also this. Honestly, whenever I see this, I'm going like ah, like obviously sometimes it's fine, right? But here's the thing: like, do you reuse this anywhere?
No,
No,
but
right?
like
And that's why
okay,
I think it should be gone. You know, that's how I think it should be
okay,
gone. That's why I
Is it
okay.
think
used
this.
in other files?
It's not,
No, but
right?
like look at the code. Okay, go to command def or you can right click, go to definition. All right.
And now let's look at this, right? Like
So
all of this, right? It's 170 lines, but you have to know what this does, right? This is a tooltip, right? It's a tooltip. It's a fucking tooltip on Hover. Like you can't tell me, like even like it's
and
fine
then let's
code. I'm not talking about the code quality or anything. That's totally fine. Um, but man, like
and then we
Like what?
scroll down. You're showing another function. Let's look at the render content function.
yeah, but the render content uses this, right? I'm pretty sure
It
it
doesn't.
does.
Wait, let me read that.
It doesn't. Where?
Maybe not. Maybe I'm wrong.
Yeah. See. See.
Yeah, this is the
Yeah.
other thing, right? This is the other thing. It's the same thing in my mind.
Look at
So,
that.
by the
It's
way, you know why
title.
the styling was broken? You had text muted garbage in
Ah.
here, right? That's
Gotcha.
why I had to fix this. It's
All
gonna
right,
actually
thanks
go.
for talking. But I think okay, so I think this is like
This is insane, bro. Like this that you and you're always doing this, like this assembling like classes. This makes it so hard to style, you know. All of this should be a ternary. 1000% this should be a ternary inside here, in my mind. Because I don't want to have the mental overhead of going into this, you know.
I think it's
And
a mental overhead
if
to
you had to, if you
to
reused it in
map out
any
a
other
ternary.
file, or like 5 different places in here, totally fine. Totally fine.
Right,
But you
right.
don't, right?
I get you, but I think there is something to be said about the mental overhead of a big
Building a
ternary.
log file. Yeah.
A
I don't
ternary,
think so.
especially
I think
like
people
a
are.
JSX with like a bunch of.
Oh yeah, I would never do a ternary, just if it.
I mean,
I think
maybe it should
ternaries are
just
somewhat of
be.
an anti-pattern.
Ah, okay, maybe.
Maybe it should just be that, right? And usually you're doing that. That's why I was actually surprised, right? Usually this would look
Yeah,
like this,
you could
right?
inline, but then you would be you every time you re-render the components, you're making a new
It would
function
rerun.
I
technically.
mean,
But
then
yeah,
fucking move it out, right?
yeah, I
Move it
know.
out.
That's what I did though.
Same file, right?
That's
No,
what
you
I did.
did not, right? It's in a different file, which is like state description. It doesn't even tell me, you know. I mean, I know when you're making a point of me being like fucking clean code guy, but I'm
Yeah,
actually
but
against clean code, right? I don't want this file to exist. And then I don't. What I fundamentally dislike is this garbage. Like
yeah.
this, like assembling. I don't think
What
this
isn't
has.
there like? Wait, isn't there like? What I always. Fuck. What's the name of it? CN.
CN. Yeah. I think that this was a CN.
This creates problem,
Yeah,
you
the
know.
join
This
thing,
creates
that's like an L. Yeah.
this creates problems, right?
That
Because
was wrong. That
if
was
I go
wrong.
in-
That should have been a CN.
We're
That
doing
should've
like
been a
code reviews on.
No, but so look, I wouldn't even have looked at this code, right? But you know, the issue was there was styling issues, right? So I had like so tooltip, right? Has like a white text. And I was like, okay, usually you just pass a fucking text. That's why this is Shatsian does this, right? It doesn't have this. This is Shatsian code, right?
Right.
Shatsian has this, which I makes sense, right? Because usually a tooltip doesn't have it has a string, right? It doesn't have a component. That's not how it's used. So this was the issue. I added this. Now it's fixed all over the place. But still, I don't think like even having this, right? Like a bunch of p tags in a fucking tooltip. I think it's just bad. I think it's
I think
bad.
they're
I don't
both
know.
wrong, kind
I
of.
think this is a unique experience that we're building, don't you think? Because like
I think this is uniquely bad. I think like this
I
is
think
usually I don't like it because it's like a preference, but I think this actually is bad. Right?
so.
In
I
here,
think,
it's completely different, right? I think because this also does something completely differently.
yeah, this is like the
Yeah.
like whether the visibility is like private or whatever. It's just like upon glance.
Well, what
Well-
did you want to say, Constantine? Because you said
I think
we
you're
were
both wrong. Like I think ternaries are an anti-pattern. I think if you use
No,
something
you're
less than twice, less than 3 times, it shouldn't be moved out if it's not for performance reasons. So I think if you use it once, you should put it in there. But I would use ifs because it's always. I think it's always.
How would you
better to
use
read it
ifs in this case? It would either need to be moved out or you would need ternaries, right?
Why would you need a ternary? Can't you just return like inline function?
Yeah, like you would create a function and then return from
You
that function
so
and
you
call
would
that
do this,
function.
right? Is what you're saying.
And then call that function.
Yeah.
Call that function.
Yeah, okay, then no, I thought you wanted to do like ifs in here, and obviously, I mean, we could do something like this.
Yeah, you
right?
could
Yeah,
do
yeah,
that
exactly.
as well.
This is
Yeah,
what
that's
you
what
would
I-
do.
yeah,
That's
yeah,
an
yeah,
end
okay.
one, I think.
No,
Yeah,
that's
that's
actually really good. I
Create
love that
the
pattern.
function there
Bro,
and then like
React
call it.
docs themselves, and we can pull them up. They specifically say ternaries are fine. I don't know why
Oh
everybody's
yeah, yeah,
hating
yeah.
on
It's
ternaries.
okay that they're fine, but they just look retarded. It's hard to
No,
read.
they
I
are
think
no, they are
ternaries-
so
dude,
fucking
they
good,
are
man.
so hard to read. You would just put a function like what I would do there.
No,
let me
no,
literally
they're
put
It's
it
just
in
like
chat.
have
It
create a
would be
little
like
function,
this,
call
this,
it.
this.
Bro, I just hate how it looks. You know, it's so fucking verbose to go like,
And then you would just put it there with if and
no,
just like
it's bad. Like
conditions.
it's
But that's it's functional. It's functional. It's top down. It's
ternary
sort of-
is the same thing.
No.
It's the same
Dude,
fucking
cheers,
thing.
cheers,
It's
cheers
just
to
that-
functional programming.
It's fucking skill issue. It's fucking skill issue that you can't read it. And SMI, I'm actually surprised because we talked about it and you said it's fine, right?
Well, I
But
saw
let's not
the
talk. I think both of these, honestly, let's not get confused here, right? Because I think having inline or even
Just write it out
maybe
once.
having the function like
Write it out
this,
once.
and it's an if,
No,
it's
no, no.
totally fine, right?
You would have multiple ifs.
You would have you can even do a fucking switch if you want, if you're completely
No, no,
retarded.
no, no, that's-
You can do a
that's
switch if you're completely
it.
retarded.
That was,
But what I'm saying is, I think this is over-engineered, right? And it's not used anywhere. So what the fuck am I looking at?
Yeah, okay, that's
So-
true. But we would need a function that's called in place with just three ifs instead of a ternary.
Yeah, I would never do
Yeah.
that. And this is in my mind preference because
Just
it
write
does
it once.
the it.
Write it once. It looks so. It will.
No,
look so
I'm not
good.
going
Just
to write
it there.
it.
Write
No,
it
no,
there.
no. I'm not going to do it. I don't do fucking inline functions like that. It has to be a ternary. It needs
dude,
to be.
there's so
actually.
many Turner. There's so many Turner. Like, I don't know.
What's the issue?
If you're going to use a ternary, for me, it should be like maybe like a string ternary. Like,
Oh,
if
just one
user
line.
sign
If
in
a ternary
or
is
sign
longer
out.
than one line, it's
Yeah, it should also
Yeah.
be one line, by the way. That's what I'm saying. This should all be gone. Like this, like I don't even
Use
know
your
what
sentence,
this
row
is.
sentence. This is
A
a little bit
tooltip.
more.
Bro, a tooltip, by the way, that's how I would actually do it. Because this is a tooltip, right? I even set it up. Like this is what it should look like.
Okay, but
I
now
even set
you're
this key up.
removing functionality.
I'm
Now you're-
removing, I know, but I think this
Yeah,
is
okay.
totally retarded. Because like I don't think our users need to have stateful tooltips. You know, I
Tooltip.
don't think this needs to exist. I think should literally be just always
Yeah,
the
change-
same tooltip, right? Because that's what a tooltip does, right?
Okay,
I don't know.
that's like a feature question. I can understand that, but I think
Yeah, that's
for the
reasonable.
feature-
But like writing it out with a ternary would be incredibly ugly, and I'm willing. To
Yeah.
understand
Writing
that
this out,
ternaries
I
are
would
better.
not do it. I agree. If this was our question, like writing
But like
this in a
in every
ternary,
case,
no,
like when would you use a ternary?
bro.
Over a
I
function
always
with
use
if.
ternaries over.
Yeah, I've seen I've seen
Always,
some of the ternaries
always.
still rights. They're kind of.
We can pull them up. I'm not fucking. I'm not.
I can't come
ashamed
up
of
with the.
this.
I just got warmed up to the ZeroCred code base again. But
You can go to page editor. There's some insane ones in there, I think.
okay,
you
well,
go
page
to-
editor is like those
Right,
not
like I send
our
something in like the chat so you can pull it up.
page. So much for like a non-technical podcast.
That's not that non-technical we're talking
No,
about.
I think ternaries
well,
are
React.
ternaries are totally fine in React land, like in TS in general. I don't know why everybody's hating on it. I think it's cool. They're concise and they're not that hard to read either. It's fine.
But it doesn't feel.
The only thing where I would agree, I think if it's possible, you know, if we have the opportunity to early return, that's always better,
Yes,
right?
and that's
If
what
we,
you're doing with an if, right?
No. Look, no. If I'm talking about early returning, if it's like for example what you just sent, I would never do this. Authenticated, render app, render login. I would never do
No,
this.
it was just like one line. That's what I meant.
That I would never do, right? I would always early return. You know?
What I wanted to say with this is that it's fine when it's one line and like really short. Then a ternary is fine. Like if you, for example, have a
Yeah.
string
You
and
want to
it's
have
like-
one line ternary. Like you would have like some variable, right? And it would
yeah,
be fine if
exactly.
it was like just like one line ternary.
Yeah. But I think ternaries over multiple lines are illegal.
Yeah, I disagree. Disagree completely, honestly. Like this is so fucking good. Like I like this actually. This is nice. You could go one step. You could go one ternary in, and I would still be fine. You know.
Wait. Why would you not do like if props visibility is shared, do the first thing and then return the other thing if not?
You'd be
That's what
calling the
ternary
function
does.
twice. I guess that would be.
I mean, you're just a ternary hater at this point, right? I don't even want to discuss further. Like Konstantin is just a ternary hater.
Yeah.
Because I think SMR, you're just you don't like two level deep ternaries, right?
Yeah.
But and I do like them. I think they're fine. And also like writing them, you know. Like, I just,
Gotcha.
I don't know.
That's also like a good thing about.
But I also
Rust,
like stuff like this. I think this is also good. Like, I like looking at this stuff, you know? This, in a code review, I don't think this would ship, you know? But
Dude, that's like another nice thing about Rust. There are no ternary operators. You can just use an if you want.
that's not a nice thing. That's not nice.
I might be talking out of my ass, but I'm pretty sure there isn't.
I think they have it, actually. Wait. I'm pretty sure that
I'm
Rust
pretty sure
has
you just
ternaries.
if else it.
No, they don't have it.
Yeah.
Man,
See,
that's
cultured,
so sad.
cultured principle and well thought through.
I mean, I would like to have. I would, for the record, right? If JSX allowed inline if, I would use inline if, but it doesn't. So I just don't like the immediately invoked function.
Yeah,
and then
I can
into if
understand that.
return.
What do we
looks a
think
little
about
bit
this? Is
weird.
like okay. So this I don't even know who wrote this. I don't know if
Someone's
it's you or
gonna
me.
pull up some insane garbage now.
Yeah,
I can
this is
already
like
feel it.
how do I even? Can I share my screen? How do you do that? Share.
Don't crash the stream, please.
I won't. Share screen. Parser want to take over? Sure. Share screen, entire screen, boom. Dude, I'm a pro. I'm a pro at this. Look at this. So this is a component. What is it called? This is a public profile. I think this is the editor.
So you're sharing like business information, like actual business logic right now. That's
How about this?
wild.
How about now? And like, what do we think about this? Like, if clean code active. So this is like a function inside of.
Yeah.
I mean,
And
this
then-
is kind of
and then here there's a
retarded, but
ternary.
also-
Yeah.
Bro, no,
ternary right here.
look, you are showing the fucking and you said it in the beginning.
I
That's
would-
like the worst part of Zerocred, right?
I would
Yeah,
honestly
yeah. This is like the worst.
unternary
It's
that,
this
but
is
other than
bad
that-
because it's a combination between. This is already bad. Like this is not good
Yeah.
code. This is not a good ternary because I should have just like I have a return a fucking empty fragment and then a ternary. It's garbage. Like let's not even talk about this.
Yeah,
But then
that's why I said.
yeah,
like,
we can
this
talk
is-
about this. This is fine actually. Class name. I always do class name ternary. No, actually,
Where?
I'm wrong. Like this clean mode profile. This is totally fine, I think. But this is also just calming down TypeScript.
Yeah.
Yeah. This
Yeah, I
garbage,
think
man.
yeah, this is like one of the biggest. I think this is like probably the biggest feature we have in terms of like technical
ternaries.
complexity. Let's call it.
No, look. Do you know how it works? Why this even exists? Basically, we have the grid editor, right, which uses like this library, and then in public pages, right, we want to SSR this, obviously, right. We don't want to ship all this JS grid editor, right. Meaning we basically have two modes, which means we need to have two components for each block, which is it's super ugly, right? But honestly, it does the trick. It should probably look differently.
Wouldn't you just put that in like functions?
What do you mean?
Store it away somewhere? Like,
the thing
like
is-
what you're rendering.
I don't do that usually. You could, right? I don't like, you know what I don't like? Because, no. It sounds retarded, but you need to look at it like this, right? If I have like a function, render clean mode, for example, right? Render clean mode. I would read the file, and then I see render clean mode. I need to like jump back up, right? I jump back down. I jump back up. I jump back down. I'm getting dizzy, right? Now, if you're a backend guy, right, you don't fucking care. But I'm not the backend guy. I need to style this garbage, right? So what I would do is, once it's done, we should, SMR, clean this up, right?
Yeah.
We should. I agree. But when I'm
Yeah.
writing it, I'm writing it like a fucking HTML file. That's why. That's why it looks like that, you know.
I
can
think
see
it's you see the
It's
hierarchy.
because I need to style it, and if it's spaced out like that, I'm losing my
difficult
mind,
to
right?
style. Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
like,
like
do
more.
you guys work with split panes? Like, you
Could
could
you
just
just flip angle with a question mark dot?
No, split pane, right? Or
Yeah.
did I?
Oh, split
Yeah,
pane.
exactly.
Okay.
In
you
editor,
just, like,
right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I
just like-
use split pane, but Usually, what I have is like when I use split pane, I have like some garbage file on the right hand side, right? For example, on Lisa, I have like the translation object on the right hand, so I can just quickly
What,
add the strings and stuff.
what was the split pane command on? I never do split panes.
It's Command L on. No, command. What is it? Command L
Oh,
is
nice.
the fucking.
It's not command
Oh
A,
yeah,
you're
I
in
think it
Anvil,
did.
right?
Okay, I'll figure it out later. But yeah.
I mostly use like a lot of the times I use like the ghosty split panes for it. Kind of
Dude,
retarded,
why
but
do you use ghosty features?
yeah.
I never use.
Especially
I don't-
tabs.
You should use Tmux because then it's.
No, the ghosty is so no, stop.
It's portable.
Ghosty,
It's
like
portable.
since I have ghosty, I don't need Tmux anymore. You can just use tabs. It's just
I don't
better.
want to overinvest in my terminal. I don't care. Like I use
that's-
Ghosty,
it's
but like I
reasonable.
could easily switch to Alacrity or whatever.
Yeah, I still have my like
Okay.
Tmux setup, but like I think like
Let me
try to use like tabs. Tabs and panes are just so nice in ghosty.
let me actually share. Like maybe I can find a normal one, and then we can wrap up. Because this was like I think obviously it was like a good example of a bad ternary, but
Yeah, that was
like,
that was the.
for example, this, right? I think if you wrote this code as SMR, right?
Yeah,
This would be a function already, even though it's just literally a fucking string, which I would
I
hate.
think this is
because-
good.
Yeah, this is a normal one, right? And then,
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, it's not even
But
that
like,
bad.
do
Like
you, I did like I think that would be fine, but better if like your brackets would wrap. Like that kind of makes me mad there.
I mean,
Like
that's
your-
the
which
formatter
brackets?
being fucked. Yeah. My formatter setup is kind of ass because I have like multiple formatters. That's. you know.
Dude, something. Yeah. Go ahead. Go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say having a format on save or not
You
format on
know
save is a
why?
personal thing,
You know
but format on
why I
commit. Format on commit because we have that on zero.
Just do you have a Husky config setup?
Bro, I don't. Yeah, we should definitely have a Husky. I usually don't like Husky, but you know why my formatting game is like that fucked up? Because I'm working on like a bunch of different projects each day, and
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I have an interesting question for you. Are you using Biome? Please.
we are right. That's the one.
Me, yes. Are you
I am.
Zolfil?
I am not.
And have you used Dino?
Please
We've
don't
used
tell
Dino
me you're
before. We've
Dino,
used it
bro.
for a super-based function, right?
Sorry?
We used it for a super-based function. Super-based functions only run on Dino.
Yeah, exactly. But like Dino, like the new release, like a while ago, was actually I think kind of nice because you have all the tooling in one. Like you have your formatter, your linter, and everything just in Dino. I kind of like
Pretty
it
sick,
because you
but I-
don't have
but I
to do
think-
like 10 configs and everything.
Well, but then you need to write your function. I'm guessing you need to write your code in Dino.
No, you just write TypeScript.
I know it's TypeScript, but Dino has
Bro,
like rules.
you're
right?
not
No.
convincing us.
The Dino runtimes from like Go super base functions are different than like Dino 2.0.
So-
Oh
You can
really?
just, like, you would
They're
just- I like-
outdated.
I just use it normally. Like you can also
Like-
like swap,
like bun.
swap it in.
Gotcha.
Yeah, just like bun.
gotcha. Okay.
Interesting.
And
But
the
why?
next
but-
thing,
What's the upside?
the
Yeah,
option is that you
yeah.
have one tooling. Like you have linter, a formatter, and everything in one. And you don't have
Biome,
to have,
Biome
like-
is my one tool. Biome is my one tool.
Yeah, that's all. That also works. Like bun and biome, right? That's also what I've always used.
Yeah, and also, what was it? This is another sidetrack, and this is not a deep one. But what was that company that the V people were working on? The V guy, Void Zero, I think. But like, and they're working on like Rust
No
tooling,
idea.
and
Eris Pack,
they're
I think.
yeah,
Eris Pack. is
their
the-
formatter is like 3 times faster than Biome, which is just like insane. I mean, after Biome, I really don't care, but it's still very impressive, of course. But
Man, I'm so not fucking tuned into the fucking tooling discussion. I'm just gonna be honest with you guys. I'm just not interested in
I
it.
feel like
I just-
Aris Lint, right? Because it, like they
it
have
might
this
be our
pack,
wristlet. I don't remember the name, but it was whatever those guys are working on.
I think.
I'm still looking for like a insane ternary, by the way. Oh, I found one.
Okay.
Wait,
Dude, that put a smile on his face. It's over.
bro, it's actually a wide one.
Hack it up. It's over.
TypeScript is screaming. Is there any way to like just shut up TypeScript? No, not really, right?
You can probably do Command Shift P and then kill stop TypeScript server or whatever. There's probably a way. How to stop
TypeScript. I tried
TypeScript.
restarting. I don't even know why it's
I hate
complaining.
how
Oh no,
React,
it's
because like I want to see how I look when I'm looking at my monitor, but every time I look down, it's too late. So I don't know how I look when I'm looking at my monitor up there.
so look,
Gotta be faster.
let's
You
look
can
at
check on
this
X.
one.
It's kind of delayed.
So here we have like a nice one, right? On press.
Wait, can you zoom in a little?
Yeah, let's zoom in. Let's actually close this.
Yeah. So on press, what code base is this? Then we have config as background config.
It's like that's sending me already.
And so if the callback becomes browser.pack, oh my god.
What do you mean? Like it's fine, right? What do you mean?
So like the
This
function that
obviously look, this is bad. Why did I do this?
Okay.
I have no idea. Probably TypeScript, right? Being insane.
right.
Should this be de-ignore? Probably, right?
I think the
Probably.
config should have been inferred from wherever it came from. But
Yeah,
yeah,
it's obviously not inferring, right? That's why I have
right.
this. Like, maybe it is now.
I think you
this
stopped
is
the
like,
TS server. Did you
yeah, I
stop
stopped
the
TS. That's, but
Ah, okay,
actually
okay, so
no,
that's
I
fine.
didn't.
Oh no, it did
So
it.
actually,
It's
it's not complaining anymore, so I can remove this.
yeah.
But this is like me, this is just me shutting up TypeScript.
Right.
But let's
But
not
then
look
you're
at this.
returning one of three functions instead of
Uh-huh.
providing one function that
No, I think it's fine
that-
if I return a function. Why is that bad?
But on returning functions is great.
okay,
But
in
not from
principle,
returning.
yes. But in this particular scenario, you're saying like if we could have one function that
Yeah,
that-
we could obviously have like
like
if
if
return,
yeah
right?
yeah
Obviously, yeah, but that would be boring, right?
yeah.
And me.
We wouldn't be using any of their RAM.
No, you know how this stuff happens. You want to know how this stuff happens?
Cursor.
No. This is not cursor. This is 100% handwritten. I'm sure.
Artisan.
You know why
Handcrafted
this garbage?
code.
Yeah, this is handcrafted by me. This is totally my garbage code. But you know how this stuff happens? Because I know for a fact that this is what happened. This is me having a single inline thing and then adding this custom back button garbage on top of the config, and because of client last minute changes, and then it just
Yeah, it's like duct tape.
what
it's
this
like, not
does
duct tape,
is what this
like you're
does
adding-
is you know like what do you get what this garbage thing does? This is basically in the layout, right? On top of the app, there's like this back button, right? Initially, the back button literally did router back, right? And then after and initially we had like on some pages we didn't have a back button. That's how it worked, right? Then before this project wrapped up, they wanted to have like specific pages should have a back button that work differently. And that's why all of this garbage is like happening, right? So this is how these things happen. This is not
The
this was
custom
not
back
being
button
done.
Kind of sent me, like it would be just a different button, right? It would just be a
What do you mean?
reset button.
I mean, I don't like attaching like in a normal project in like for example in ZeroCred, right? I would have button, I would have button variant,
Yeah.
and this is how it will work. But in any case, I don't like having a delete button. I think this is stupid. I think it should always be button and then,
yeah.
passing down what it does. I don't think we should. That's also a preference, right? There could be code bases where I've seen it, where you have like a confirm button, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, we
you
have
don't
that.
pass-
Yeah.
It depends, right? Like for example, sometimes submit button might be right because it has like it posts maybe,
Yeah.
who knows? But I
Like
think
for the delete, like if you have a popover that's always consistent and like this, that, and the other, and there's like confirmation texts and whatever.
like you have to understand that this was once this,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, sure.
And then obviously, would it be better to just, instead
Wait,
of
couldn't
doing
you
what
just
I
like,
did?
why would you not just pass the function?
What do you mean? Why I didn't move this up?
No, no, no,
Because
no,
this,
no, no. Instead of like passing a function, calling the function, why would you just not pass the function?
that's, yeah, obviously I could also do router.back, sure. But yeah. I mean, again, you have to,
Yeah, no, no, I
a
understand
code
that. Like,
I'm
I also,
shipping
yeah, yeah,
for
I
the
know.
money I'm getting, right? It's
Yeah,
always
I also
correlates,
like
right?
understand. Like, I also did like had like huge files with everything just in one file, writing it out because like, especially in the old company where I worked at, like when your boss gonna change it tomorrow anyways,
Yeah, you
why
don't
would you just
fucking
like
care.
you
You
don't give a
stop
shit?
caring,
You
right?
just if it works and it does what it should, then that's the best you get. Well,
Yeah.
kind of we derailed into ternaries.
Yeah, no, I
I
was
mean,
opening it up.
I kind of showed the bad ternary again, but you see what I mean, right? It's like,
Yeah.
even
Yeah.
here, right? Even here, you would probably have render context. I think this. What do you think about this, for example? This is a.
I think it's way too hard to read, honestly, because you have to like if you know what it does. Like
If I. Yeah, I
if you're
agree.
saying like
It's
this
like-
is like this is good to read, then I'm fine with like everyone can read Rust. Like this is I'd say 10x reading difficulty over Rust.
Because you're not. I think for a normie garbage level React dev, this is totally fine to read. For a normal dev who doesn't do a lot of React, it's hard to read. I agree.
I wouldn't even say it's like hard to read. You always have to find and like when what I like. I think it's similar to what you earlier said when you're working on functions and you don't like how they're all over the place. For this, I always have to find the colon again. If I'm thinking about what's
But it's all
happening,
in one. I like it because it's all. I don't need to scroll. You read it from
oh yeah,
top to
I totally
bottom,
get that, but
you know?
just like to know where like the logic, like if I just think what's being returned, then I always have to think, okay, ternary, what like the first thing is going to be returned when, and then where or is the colon again there? Okay, there's a different like, I think that's just
I don't know. I don't think it's
Hard
that
to
hard to read. You can read ternaries from like it's sequential, right? You don't have to go back up.
no, just when I look over it and I'm like, okay,
When you glance, yeah. For glancing,
You
it's
just go
bad.
over it,
I
it's
agree.
like,
For glancing, it's bad. But I think when you're actually reading, it's fine. Obviously, it could be better, but
yeah,
I don't know.
I think but like my only opinion there is that I think if a ternary goes over one line, it shouldn't be a ternary. That's just all. You
Yeah,
could
I can
ternary
see
it, but you could just wrap it in a function or whatever, and then it would make sense. I in this case, I kind of like ternaries. If you have like this, and you would just put it into a function and then have a one-line ternary, I think it would be kind of nice. Just two functions, and then.
I would in a function. I would always probably. I mean, this is a unique case.
No,
where
I
it's,
mean
unique
put that stuff into functions, like the
But,
circular button, the first one, the second one.
yeah, but
like
if
the
I'm in a
second one.
function and I'm not in like up top, I would probably always. Okay, this.
Dual components? Or? Oh, that's why.
Yeah, but this is also. Is this not fine? Like,
This
it's
okay.
readable.
This is legitimately like readable though. If you just like
This
try
isn't
reading
too
that, that's
bad.
actually very readable. Because it's
I
like
don't know.
one.
It's
like,
also about the formatting, right? Like, let's face it. This is badly formatted. Like this. Where was it? This, right? It's a formatting issue. If this was formatted correctly, it would be fine,
you
It
think
would
so?
be better, yeah.
right? Like this. I don't know. Like to me,
That's actually very.
this.
The config line is very readable in my opinion. Because like it's literally like like an if case then a result and an if case and a result. It's like a switch statement basically, in a good sense.
You hate it, right? Like
I like it.
you have to.
I have to
You
think
have to
really
acknowledge.
hard about what's going on here. Maybe
Like,
it's
think
just me.
about it.
Because you don't read a lot of ternaries. I think this changes completely once you read a lot of
Oh no,
ternaries.
I have to tell. I was a ternary cell. Like back when I was writing a lot of TypeScript, I had this time or this phase where I thought ternaries are really elegant because you have to write less line. I had this phase where I was like minimizing characters and thinking about the shorter the code, the better it is. And in that time, I loved ternaries. I was ternarying
I'm
everything.
not like that at all.
But then I stopped and I realized that writing code in an understandable way sometimes has more letters than if you do it shorter, and then I started hating them.
That's
I'm not at all. I don't care about fucking. And you know this, SMR. I don't fucking care
yeah.
about lines of code.
Oh no, no, I'm
I,
not saying that's what you're saying. It's
yeah, I'm
just like
just saying that
I used them
ternaries.
before. It's not that I general turn. Wasn't born a ternary hater.
gotcha.
But I think it's TypeScript retardation, kind of, right?
Yeah.
I think, like, if I would I do this in any other language? No, probably not.
Yeah,
I couldn't even, most, right?
probably not.
But
Yeah.
but I think I honestly think this is better than having another function that's getConfig, and it's in another place, like up top. It makes me jump. I hate jumping.
You could
No, I
do
get
like
that. I get that.
I think
can you
I'm just.
copy
It
that
might
code
just
somewhere?
be a like cognitive issue of
But
me because I lose focus. Like when I, yeah,
why
even this,
why
right?
wouldn't you
Even
just set a variable and assign it depending on if statements?
this is what I'm
Oh,
doing.
like a let, or like do you mean
Yeah.
like a function, like a
Yeah.
No,
self-calling
that
function?
I hate.
Yeah.
A
Like
let is
just
not the move. I do
I
not like
let
that.
because it's TypeScript garbage in the
Yeah,
end, right? So
yeah,
it could always be empty. Like who knows, right? What happens?
But you would
yeah.
like a let and initialize with a sane value and then just reassign it with this.
No, I hate that.
Can you try that?
And also it runs.
Just tell cursor rewrite that using a let and a sane
No, I don't even. I
declaration.
see what you mean. You want to have like a good default, but man, no, I don't. I think
I would have like a let and then
I'm
something
const
like
maxing
create
always.
default config. I'd have a let and then create default config and then if it and set the config dependent on the state.
You know what the problem is? And now I'm back to like retarded juniors. If you make this a let, right? Some junior might go ahead and fucking reassign in JSX. I don't want this to ever be a topic, right? Like I think in React Compo, I don't know if you agree, Asama, but I think there shouldn't be a single let, honestly.
Yes, I agree.
Okay, then yeah, okay.
But don't you
I
agree with
think
that?
it could be.
Constantine?
I think what it actually, if I wasn't using ternaries, I would obviously use a function, right? I would use a function, and it would be getConfig. Maybe it
You
would
don't need to
even
name
be.
it. It doesn't need to be named. Like it can just be like a created
Yeah,
function
it
that calls
can be
itself.
inline, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And then like that would just be. I
I
think
mean, I
that's. I
guess
think
this
that's satisfying.
you would always go for this solution, right? I guess I see it where
Yeah,
it would just be okay.
yeah.
Yeah.
But then you would immediately need to. No, you would actually not because I'm
You would
using.
call it. Yeah,
Yeah,
you
yeah,
would
you would
wrap
call
the
it
and then
in
call it and then
JSX.
boom.
Yeah, yeah.
So good. Like
I
that's
see that.
so good. Don't you
Honestly,
love that?
it's just
Love.
that I'm too lazy, I guess, writing a fucking function.
Mm.
And I still enjoy. Like I just honestly, I have this weird fetish for like ternaries.
Yeah,
I like to write them. It's kind of it makes me happy. Seeing like.
Gotcha.
But yeah.
I think yeah, it's like a taste type thing.
If like for example, if SMR, if you were as against ternaries as
Constantine.
Constantine is, I would not use them. Like just for the
Ah,
record.
okay, okay.
Like I would. I would. I'm not like married to them, right? It's fine,
Yeah.
but I would also. I would not use them. For example, sometimes because you also use them pretty heavily on in like on the TRPC side of things, right? On in routes. I don't really like using
You think
them.
so?
Yeah, you oftentimes you do like return, and then it's like
Where is
a
my?
pretty long ternary, you know. I've seen it. I'm actually on the back end. I'm like, I like to just return one. Like, you get me? Like I like to return early. But yeah, I think we're kind of derailing now. And
Yeah.
honestly, I'm not the best guy to talk about like coding styles because I don't really have an.
Dude.
I'm just checking something real quick because that's actually interesting to me. The one with the like the let and like sane default and why you wouldn't do it.
I think it's actually an anti-pattern, right? I think it might even be like
Yeah,
in
it
docs and stuff.
can be. But
That is interesting. I never thought of it that way though. What he said, where like you assign a sane default by default. So it would be like let name equals to unknown, and then you'd say, well, if username.id, what you know what I mean?
oh yeah,
So like
like this is kind of what
you would
I.
start with the sane default, and then you would go check if it succeeds one
Yeah,
of
but the problem is that
Well,
it's
I sent it in the
reassignable,
chat.
right?
Like that's
Like,
what I
why
would.
would you ever
That's
want?
what I wanted to like do.
Okay, this I don't get in a function. And then it's immediately invoked. I don't. That's just a error, right? It wouldn't be immediately invoked, would it?
It would be because you would assign a const, like you would basically do the same thing, wrap it in a function, put it into a const so it can't be reassigned. You would have like the logic of just going through and setting conditionals, like basically setting a config up once and then tweaking the config so you always know what's happening. You basically have it like super sequential, and then you would just call it immediately to assign it to the const so no one can change it afterwards. Like if you put it in your code editor and like syntax highlighting, it would kind of work.
Wait. Let me add it. I really dislike this a lot, to be honest, for multiple reasons.
I kind of like this. This is fun.
Yeah, it's fun, but in the same way that
I mean, it's
ternaries
fun
are fun
in
for
general.
me, you know.
I mean, in general, it's fun. Like this discussion is fun. I think. I'm
I
really
think the
looking forward
discussion
to
is.
if SMR likes it or not. I'm hoping
well,
for my reasonable backend pro here.
gotcha. We
But
have
why
let me-
you're just adding? You're actually now you're actually adding bunch of lines of code, right, to this.
Two. I have
But
two.
what's
more.
sane default? Why is it a function?
It's just like you would just do like
it could be a const maybe. It could be
yeah,
like a hard
create
code thing.
yeah, it could be
Yeah.
create config, it could be whatever. It's just like it could also it does wouldn't be need to be a function. It could
Because
also
that
be
does
just
solve
a
the types
object.
that does solve the TypeScript issue as well. Because like you
Can
know
you put it on the
TypeScript,
screen because no one can see?
Yeah, I'm bad. I'm sorry. I forgot that I'm
but
not
like
sharing.
that solves the TypeScript issue as well. Because like TypeScript thinks that it's a string, and so
You know, I think this is ass. I think this is total ass.
I
No,
think
I think so. Look, I think we have two options, right? If we don't want to have the ternaries, I think we have two options. I think it's either as SMR said, where it's uh,
return.
this if you know this
Yeah.
is one option. I think, and this objectively, if I didn't like ternaries, this would be the option, right? And then in the JSX you go just
Div
X,
X.
right?
Yeah.
This would probably be the for ternary haters the option, right?
I think what I would argue is that the top one makes sense if you initialize the config in different places multiple times, and the default, like the config has a sane default. So if you would initialize it all the time, and sometimes you would only set one value, sometimes you would set 20, someone you would set like none, then it would make sense because then you would always have like this is the same, and then I just change this and I change this. The next file, this is the same, I just change this. And then it would kind of make sense.
Yeah.
Because
So
you
like
always like
Yeah,
just
but you could
again
also do this in
mental
here, right?
overload again because
You could also you don't need the let, right? You could just do as a base case, right? All the way down, you could just do
yeah, but then you would
like
always have the same.
return sane default.
so
You know?
what
Yeah,
he's saying is like let's say sane default returned like a let's say we're writing dev tools and it's like a biome config, right? It's like a giant biome config. And then we could say if condition one, like if the user doesn't care about styling or doesn't care about linting, we should just set the linting off. So like you're sort of you're taking the original object, you're making tiny edits depending on the user's custom settings, and then
Yeah.
returning either the
So
original
you're talking
object
about
or
mutating this
yeah,
actual
it's like a
sane
merge
default,
state.
right?
You're
I
merging
would do
then
it for a
it's
config. I would never do it for
okay.
a
Then
variable that has a value that's a color or something. Then it's
okay, but
recharged.
then it's a completely different use
Yeah.
case, right? Because okay, then I
Because like in
understand,
the
right? So
example, I think
basically,
it was a config, right? And I think configs are always nice if you set them in a default mode and then you just change what you want to change and not the other way around. Just set what you want.
Yeah.
I mean, this config doesn't work like that. But yeah, I agree. Maybe config is like the wrong wording for it because basically what this config has, it has all the pages and it has settings. They never get updated. You know, like
It's
but
functional, let's say.
okay, I get it. So basically, it wouldn't be result would be like something on same default object
Yeah.
right? And okay, I get that, but in
I mean, you could
React
do
land,
in JavaScript. You could
I
do dot
don't
dot
think
dot, right? You could
I
do
don't
a
think this should ever happen in React land though, right? Like this,
yeah. It won't ever happen because like if you wanted to edit stuff, you just do it would just be like on the first line you do a return. On the first line you do return open bracket dot 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 same default question mark, and then you do like, oh, if this the case, then add this. So like it would be
I
something.
remember I did this once like that where we basically had a nav bar that was depending on like what like you had a default set on a user, like a user could set his default and on an organization default for the like the items in the nav bar, and then he could overwrite it locally.
best case for ternary in my mind. So, no, but I get you, I guess, but I would honestly I would even stray away from this. I think me personally, I don't know. I don't know. In React land, I would not ship this. Never, probably. Because I would not want to mutate garbage in my body.
Oh yeah, I
Even
wouldn't
though
put
you
it in
could make the
JSX.
case. What?
I wouldn't put it in JSX.
Okay, then we are aligned. But I still, what I don't get is this.
Why?
There we go. Like, check this out. How about this? Wait, let me copy this.
Coding.
Like, why would you ever need to invoke it immediately? You are
So you
always
assign
going
it to
to
the
use
const
it.
and you can't change it afterwards.
But you can. What do you mean? Like, are we talking JSX or not? Because you're going to use this, right?
Yeah, but you can't reassign it. The issue is if you just do the let without the wrapper around it, someone somewhere else could change result.
Yeah, but why immediately invoke it is what I'm saying. Because you could do this, right? And then what it's always going to be called, right? In some place.
But
Right.
what did you now it's a function, right? Now you would have to call it. And if you invoke it, it's a value.
But there's no difference, right?
You one you have to call, the other one you don't have to call. You could just use it as X without calling it.
Yeah, I guess we are kind of talking about different things, right? Because earlier you said you wouldn't ship this in JSX to begin with, right?
No, I
So we are
wouldn't.
not.
No, but
Yeah.
it just like if you would like later if it's a let, right? And you basically omit the first and the last line. And then you could just change it somewhere else.
Yeah, this looked way better to me.
Yeah, that also makes sense.
Because this is like very specific to TypeScript or JavaScript.
Yeah.
I still think just calling it as a function is fine.
Yeah, that
I think it's
too.
also fun. Yeah.
But I think you kind of get used to everything being a variable. Because
That's also
in my mind, if you use solid.js, you have to call signals with brackets. And so my thing is like, okay, in React, everything is just like a value, whereas in Solid, it's an open bracket. It's an accessor. So everything is an open bracket, close bracket. If you want it to be, well, not everything, but a lot of things are defaulted to being in that way. Or like if you want them to be reactive, you have to do the open bracket, close bracket. And so it's sort of like these two worlds. But then again, that could just be like my own like tendencies.
Also, like filled in, you have to do like only 1 hour today
Yeah.
because we're kind of like
I mean, I don't have to, right? But
3 hours in. No, not 3, but like 2 hours.
No,
in.
it's 2, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's spiritually, it's 3.
Yeah, we talked about important topics because I'm very like, I mean, I might come off as like I'm really passionate about ternaries. I'm honestly really not. Like, I just, to be honest, if we talked about code like this every single week, I would probably crash out and I would probably quit because I'm not
Yeah.
like a big code guy. If you like,
Plus, there would
I
be like a
don't
lot
really.
of disagreements. So like it'll all be.
Also, I think that disagreements are meaningless at
Oh
the
yeah,
end
absolutely.
of the day,
It's
right?
just like
That's
it's just
like whenever people discuss on X, right? Whenever people discuss like when they crash out on,
Oh, yeah.
like for example, if I showed this file, if I made a post
It's
about this
actually a
file,
great like rage bait. You should do that.
I mean, all my files are fucking rage bait. I have like infinite rage bait.
All my files are rage bait. That's crazy.
I
even
mean,
like the unused imports on top. This would be like this. Like if you go down a little
That's
bit,
actually my. I think most of that is my doing,
this would
unfortunately.
be like like even a little bit further down, it would be perfect rage bait. Like just the slide, and then even like just the the default theme, and then you would just screenshot it out in a way where you wouldn't even see the editor, and it would be a little bit misaligned from the middle, dude.
the thing is, people don't get how software is made. They work like either they work in a cushiony fucking office job or they don't work, you know? That's how I see it. And I'm getting paid by the hour, right?
Yeah,
Which means I'm not going to be cleaning up code unless somebody tells me to. This is an MVP, right? So this is like it can be garbage.
yeah.
Um
It was a pretty
and
solid. It was, yeah. It was a pretty solid.
and people can like people can criticize. Obviously, right? I could do it better, but
I wouldn't
it's
do it. Like
you know,
the only
it's
thing the only thing I would criticize on that would be that like removing all the unused imports is literally just one line in a biome config. That's the only thing. Otherwise, other than
yeah,
that,
but
I'd say it's like
also
it
if
doesn't
you
care.
yeah, that's true, but it's also annoying as fuck, right? Like it always screams at you constantly as you're working. I agree with adding this unused imports to once you're done, and then you clean it up once and then it's gone. But as you're working, like with auto imports, it's annoying in my mind. I don't know if you agree.
Mm.
Like
I
it's
I always
really
like I
annoying.
just have it on like save or often even just on like commit. So like just as a pre-commit hook, so I don't really care.
Yeah, pre-commit hooks is fine. Actually, you know that pre-commit hooks get a lot of hate, but I think they're honestly there is fine use
Yeah,
cases, right?
Yeah,
Like formatting and linting
yeah.
is
I
fine.
think, I
Everything
think,
else is wild.
yeah.
yeah. If you're doing a check, that sucks. But like, if you're just doing something additive, like a cleanup or formatting or whatever,
Should
like
be
nobody,
yeah.
it's fine,
Yeah.
right?
I think it's enough looking at weird React codes. I mean, I did show you one of the worst components again,
Yeah, but
right? Like,
like I don't even like disagree. I think it's just sometimes fun to talk about it. But I like a lot of the Rust code I wrote at Rust, dude. I'm always saying Rust. I'm tired. React code I wrote looks like this or worse, because like why would you not like? And
it's
it's also
not
something
in the
different
end
if
of
you're
the
like team of 20 people and you're looking at this file every day and you do make it better over time. Sometimes you just create a file once and you never touch it again.
Yeah,
yeah, and the
So
worst for this project as well, right? When I started working on this project, the design wasn't done, right? So files grow,
yeah,
right? And then in how I see it is, and why I like React, and not even just React, but just the front end in general, it's usually not critical, right? I mean, obviously you have issues like Cloudflare where fucking use effect takes down prod, but um, but usually like this is not even like all
no
of
one
this we
dies if it
talked
doesn't
about,
work.
right? Like all of this, it at the end of the day, right? Obviously it's ugly, but it does the same thing as the clean if.
Yeah.
There's no issues, right? This is not a use effect, and we can talk. We should probably not talk about use effects, to be honest, because but also I've kind of stopped using use effects that much. So
true.
go on,
Even I've
Lisa,
noticed
right?
that.
Lisa is fine, right? Lisa is good
Yeah, yeah,
actually.
yeah.
I kind of
This
locked
is
in,
pretty good. Yeah.
but yeah. Do we have anything nice to wrap up with? Because we looked
We
at
could
like
go
just
into the
three
like
horrible code snippets.
super fast about the like the tweet, the post I added. It would be a quick one.
Which
Yeah,
which is
let me pull that up. Bro, this is wild to me still. I just want to
well,
say. Because you were like a
yeah. Well,
Golang fan,
that
right?
what I liked about it was because I built I built several tiny things, and the biggest thing I built was a torrent client from scratch with Go, and I enjoyed my time with that because I don't know. I guess it wasn't a real product. It was just like a terminal tool that could like that understood the torrent protocol. I had to write it from scratch by hand. But and so I enjoyed that process. Maybe I just enjoyed the project more than I did the language. Because once you understand thing. The code is very simple, like the functions and the worker pools and all that. It's like simple concepts. But yeah.
Is this a tweet?
Yes.
Okay. So now we're at the EU stage. So someone can completely check out again.
Oh, this would be interesting.
Okay.
I would be mostly interested in your opinion there.
Trend of Europeans moving to UAE. Do you want to have my take on UAE up front without even reading
Oh,
this?
give me a second.
Depends if I can go there afterwards anymore while being on a podcast with you.
I think UAE is fine. I don't care. I don't care too much about the humanitarian garbage. I think UAE is
So
just.
just left the chat.
Wait, did Phil leave the chat? Wait, I'll come
I
back.
think he disconnected. Oh, he's.
Oh, he come. Okay.
Oh no, he's gone.
Oh, did he drop? Wait, let me come back so you
No.
don't feel.
Wait, it's
We
trying
need,
again.
we need to move off.
And we're back.
We need to move off of this riverside.
Yeah, I think.
My issue, right? This was the riverside told me recording was stopped, and then
What?
it was gone.
I'm still
Yeah,
recording.
Riverside is like one of the buggiest pieces of software I've used in a long time.
Honestly, right?
Unironically. Yeah.
Yeah, we need to. I think for next week, I'm gonna set up OBS, and we're just gonna do it old school.
Yeah. I can also record my thing and then send it to you if that's necessary. Or
I'll log in and get like a nice setup.
let's go.
Okay, so for this UAE take, right? UAE take, in my mind, it's fine, totally fine. Whenever I've been, it's nice, but I could never see myself living there. In the same way as I could never see myself living in Vegas, for example. It's like just not a place that I think it's soulless. You know,
Oh,
that's.
It's
100%.
not home.
It's 100%. But that's why I think this one
But
is
as a
interesting. because-
business,
Yeah.
okay. So let me actually read through
This one is
right?
interesting because I actually know two guys that are doing it like that. Like completely like that. And I think this is
Europe does
the
not
only
hold
way you
tax.
can make it work.
Yeah, I mean, if we're talking, you live in UAE in winter, and
Yeah, just like Q4 and Q1 lock in hard.
I mean that's completely different, right? That's the same discussion as with people who are like, yeah, Thailand is super nice. I agree, but it's not super nice to have it as your year long.
No, but like
home,
just like
right?
the tweet like states, I would just literally go there, lock in super hard, get an apartment, just train, work, don't do anything else, just hit the gym and train, and then hit the gym and code and or like work on the business, and then enjoy the summer months. Like I know one guy who's just doing, he's like, he cut this all summer, he's not working at all. He's only working in the winter because he pays 50% less taxes, so he's earning the same, and he's just like locking in hard in the winter, and in the summer he's just like driving through Europe and having fun.
Yeah, I mean, the problem for me is I still have a bunch of stuff that's holding me in EU, kind of, and
Is it like personal stuff or is it like business stuff?
family, and also my business is incorporated here, right? But honestly, I did. So just FYI, like my business right now is an all gay, right? And I could, and we talked about this earlier. I could upgrade to GmbH.
Yeah.
It's actually like this, right? I could upgrade, but I'm actually holding back because I am actively thinking about just not UAE actually, but like, I should
Cyprus.
probably just incorporate somewhere else.
Yeah.
And like that's what I mean. Like I'm not. I think it's fine to do stuff like that, right? It's not. You're not hurting anyone.
No, I
That's
think
the
what's
thing,
interesting about that is like specifically the location, because like I was in Doha recently, like last week when we had the horribly chopped connection, and I think like it's really sterile, and I wouldn't know anything. Like cool playing golf there, yeah, okay, golf in the desert is cool. Going to skiing, yeah, well, it's kind of annoying. So for
It's no
me, if I
soul.
would, yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. So there would be nothing for me to do except work.
It's
So
like a
you,
lab. It's like a giant
yeah,
lab
yeah,
for
you would
like
kind of, you
a
would
dude in
use
his
the
20s or
soullessness
30s. Yeah.
and then just log in. And then at the point with the nice flights, you would basically fly like either Emirates, Singapore Airlines, or Qatar Airways, which are all the nicest airways you can fly. It's not super expensive. It's like 6 to 7 hours. That's a cozy flight. You can just, it's not too long. That's, I think, makes it kind of interesting. Not just somewhere else, because for example with Thailand, it's super far. But even if you live there and let's say it's a birthday or some family occasion, you could just fly back. It's whatever.
Yeah, that's true, I guess. I don't know. I think honestly, for me, I think there might be places in EU that offer the same type of you can't do anything and you can lock in, because I agree with that. But I think I would still want to live somewhere where there's like at least a tiny bit of soul, like history. And this is like a EU coded thing, right? Like talking about US like that, it's like just no history, no culture, right? Stuff like that. But I do actually think like it does make me feel bad
Oh
if
yeah,
I'm
like I 100% get it, but like if you would like don't do anything except work anyways, I wouldn't care if like a super nice church from like 1600s is next to me if I'm in my
But
office
do
anyways.
you but do you think you could not work for, because I do get a certain level of enjoyment from work. A big one actually. Like
Same.
it might, I think, I don't know, like I would be working in EU as well.
Same. Yeah, I wouldn't do the thing where I don't work all summer. I would
Yeah.
also work there. But I just make more money then.
To be honest, I have this, and why I didn't. So when I said earlier that I'm thinking about incorporating somewhere else and just maybe move, who knows, right? Who knows? I didn't do it because I have like a certain, and it's a weird thing to be honest. But I have this mindset of wanting to make it in Austria specifically.
I
You know,
100% understand
like
that.
I don't, I know for a fact that if I went to UAE, incorporated there, paid zero taxes, right, and just it's also easy to do business with like Americans, right?
Yeah.
It's like, but it's just not, it doesn't hit the same, right? So I want to give it a shot in Austria, and if it doesn't work, it doesn't work, and then I'm going to do this 100%. Like if my business, for example, fails, right, I'm not going to do the same thing in Austria again. Like, no chance. But I have hope that it works in Austria, and I think it's a flex, to be honest,
Also,
if it
yeah, I
would,
talked
right?
to an American recently, and like I was also about that. Like I kind of have this like, I think it's just a good cope to be honest. But the idea that if you make it in the hard lobby, like going to the States afterwards is just like easy mode, probably just pure
I mean,
cope. But
it really is easy mode though. Like talk to like try getting EU clients versus US clients, and tell me that it's not hard mode here in EU compared to US. It's fucking hard mode, right? That's what it is. It's probably stupid that we even are trying, because I think we probably shouldn't be doing that. But again, it's just making it here, and everybody knows that doing business here is garbage. I think it's different, right? So I don't know, but all of this changes, right? Once your company is big, I don't think I would be in Austria if my company was huge.
no, same as like the I think it was like Revolut founder. This guy is like 200 billion. Recently left London to UAE just because of like he would have literally went to I think zero tax if he ever does an exit, and he would have been like at like I think 10 billion or something if he would stay. So he just like signed out.
I think if I made this kind of money, I would not give a fuck. But maybe I'm wrong.
Would you pay it?
I would probably pay, yeah.
Fuck no, I would leave.
Yeah, I know, and that's where our political discussion maybe comes in, right? But I think I would actually. I mean, I wouldn't happily pay. Let's not say this, but I would probably pay and stay, or like move somewhere where I would actually like to live. I wouldn't force myself to live in fucking UAE.
Oh, I would go there
Um,
for the payout and then go somewhere else.
yeah, you would. It would not really be
No, no, I would
your
just go there
place
for a
of
year or
residence,
something and
right?
then like collect the exit and then.
Yeah, I guess also I think I'm talking out of my ass when I'm saying that I wouldn't do that because the thing is, and I, when you're that big, right, and you have that much money, I think people will find you who are going to just basically tell you to do things, right? That's how, because I'm seeing it right now. It's like as my business grows larger, I'm getting in contact with people who I would have never met otherwise. It's like context, right? Even
Mhm.
and it starts at like accountants, right? And I don't know, like I think once you make like millions of bucks a month, like a year, it changes probably. Is what I'm guessing, right? You meet different people and it from my standpoint right now, it seems like I would never do such a thing, but I think your view probably changes.
Yeah.
That's how I see it. I don't know if you agree, but yeah, I don't know.
But that's good. Like I think there's a good like end of the discussion, so we can all lock in and work towards like having enough money
I
to.
would kind of like to hear SMR's point because
Oh
we
yeah, true.
kind of haven't. Do you have an opinion on
Um,
this?
I think I'd probably. I mean, if you care about whatever, like helping your country, I think it would be much more practical to move, save the taxes, and then wield the capital as a weapon in your democratic system. This is so. This term is so foreign. Your democratic system, but in a democratic system, money is extremely powerful because you can control. You can win elections through like ad spend. You can exactly. Okay. You can win elections through ad spend. You can um like you can donate money to a university and then stop donating to them to like destroy their financial base. Like you can do so much with money in a like a real democracy, not like a fake one. And so it's like free power. Plus, if you don't want to work in politics or whatever, you could just use the money to like help whatever like legitimately good political cause that you believe most in. So, like if you especially care about veterans, you could build like a whole homeless shelter for vets or whatever, right? So I think it's much more precise. But yeah,
I don't know. I yeah, maybe.
like even positively, maybe we're not doing what she's doing, but like you could again, you could build like whatever whatever particular thing that you care about.
I think
So
it's more. It would be if I genuinely cared about Austrians and giving back to Austrians. I think it would be better if I just had a business in Austria that hires in Austria. Then
yeah, so if you don't care, then why would you even? I think you would just move and take the cash, right? I don't think it would be even a discussion.
no, I think there's two different topics, right? Do I care about Austrians and helping Austrians, or do I care about being in Austria and
Okay,
making it in Austria? That's me focus, right? The other
right.
thing is being. I don't know if this is actually something because maybe some people are like that. I'm honestly not like that. I don't care that much about Austrians that I would specifically
Gotcha.
want to have a company in Austria to hire Austrians. I don't really care about
Yeah,
that.
yeah,
But I assume there will be people, right? Um, I don't know.
yeah.
But
I'm sure there's like not people who love their country and all that. Yeah.
it's interesting though. So I guess all of us are kind of on the same page on this, right? We would probably all.
Also, yeah. One last note is like I think in order to appreciate your country, I think a good place to start would be like if you look at all the luxuries that you enjoy, it is usually a result of the people. Maybe not those alive today, but like the that were like your parents and your parents' parents, etc. And like the society they created, they wanted you in particular to enjoy it, and that's why you have like the amenities and all that. And so once you sort of understand that, you gain like an appreciation for the particular people that you live around. Um, but that's just like food for thought.
Yeah, this I guess this topic, not this topic specifically, but the topic of where you want to live, where you want to build your company is actually like super big, right? We could probably fill an entire episode about this.
Yeah, because yeah, it is very. We
Because
could
I
have like 10
honestly, I don't know,
episodes.
are you locked in on something, you guys? Because I'm not. Like, I genuinely don't know for a fact. I don't know if I'll be living in Vienna in like five
Oh no,
years.
like
I
the
don't.
same
I have
mission
no
like you
idea.
said. Like I just have family here. Currently, like my girlfriend is also studying here, so that's like two aspects. But other than that, I just like what for me. But that's like you just like mentioned it briefly. What I dislike what's happening with taxes here. So I try to pay as little taxes as possible in a
But you,
legal way. So if I would make big bucks, I would try my best to not pay big bucks here. So I can, like SMR said, use my money in a way here. I would definitely do something here. And I don't know, like sponsor a school or something. But I would think I would, like, I like to think I would know better to do with it, like what to do with it, than giving it away, and then it just goes to in some like pension of some politician or whatever. So I just try to do it myself. But first part of that is getting so rich that it actually matters. So we just have to lock it
yeah,
Yeah.
down.
that's the thing, right? Because if you're making millions and not tens of millions, it's not meaningful, right?
No,
Even if you
Yeah.
open one school, yeah, cool, you opened like one school,
it's
nice.
mostly
But
vanity, but it's cool.
it's vanity, yeah, and it's for yourself, right? It's
Yeah.
to make yourself feel better. Um,
Yeah.
and honestly, to be completely honest, like I'm always, and we had this discussion once at Samar where you were like, you were basically telling me the same thing about like using money to help people big time, right?
Yeah.
I'm honestly not thinking like that. Maybe I'm not thinking big enough, but I think the chances are pretty slim that you are all and at any point going to be fucking Miriam Adelson type rich, right? Like swaying elections type rich.
I mean, yeah. If your goal is to sway the American political system, that's like a very high. But like if your goal is to control whatever, like if I was Austrian, I wanted to sway the Viennese. I don't know what the term would be.
City collect. Yeah, I get
Yeah.
that. So it's like
Yeah.
local elections. Yeah,
Yeah.
okay. Like maybe if you want to become like um mayor, right? When you're
Yeah,
70,
or like
you
Or
even
could.
smaller
control
way
who
actually.
becomes
Like
mayor.
I had that like earlier with a friend who's currently in Tuttlingen, where a lot of medtech companies are, and even if it's just some small things like a roundabout, like if they don't like it, they just say to the city, okay, like we gonna move 500 employees somewhere else if you build this. So
Yeah,
think
but
twice.
this is different, right? Because they have 500 employees in Germany,
Yeah,
right?
sure, but you could do the same thing in like in your city when you are like imagine you have a larger company for small like there's some of those cities in Germany, I'm pretty sure it's also the same for you in Austria, where most like one person, I'd say, or like one family pays most of the taxes for the whole city.
Yeah, for sure. For example, we
So
have.
they could just say, dude, like maybe stop because otherwise we leave and like you get like
Yeah, you are
50% less
basically you
taxes. So
own the city, right?
yeah.
That's what you mean. Like a company owns the city,
Yeah.
kinda. Yeah. But I think this only works if you have employees.
I think it also works
Yeah,
if you
but
pay a lot
that's a
of taxes.
particular. I think the employees thing is just a particular example. The whole point is just like being so large that like you have sway. I think that's like a generic way of putting it. Because um like another example, I'll put it in vague terms, but like in the American Ivy League universities, there were like a bunch of protests, and so when the donors didn't want the protest to continue, they just called up the presidents and they said, "Hey, you can't continue this." And so the universities of like Columbia, University of Pennsylvania, Harvard, etc., they had their presidents changed last year because of the protests. And so like that, and in that case, that's like donating to a university that controls who becomes the elite in like 10 years, which is pretty big, right? And so obviously like every system has like different choke points, but like um, you
So
could
that's a goal of you guys. Do you actively think about? Is this
my
like your end goal?
What?
well my thing is
Oh, being able to sway
No, no.
people.
I don't give a shit. I just want to be free.
Okay.
um, I think being free is important. I think it's almost like a first principle. Like freedom is good. It's like a first principle of like manhood. I feel like, but um, this is something that I think about a lot because like usually I don't think that like for example like the whole idea of like happiness. I don't really necessarily think it's important, at least for myself. And so, and if that is not important, all that if you have like 50 or 40, 45 years between 20 and like your brain stops working at 70 or whatever, if you have like 50 years, the best thing you could do is just gain as much either brain power or smarts or whatever, just like max out something and then use that to make the world better. That's like cringe and like super like liberal or like not liberal in like the left wing sense, but like capital L liberal. But I think I think that and it's almost like a duty. Like if you are whatever, if you have the capabilities of doing that, or if you think you might have the capabilities of doing that, I think you should just sort of give your life away for that. Because like so many of the awesome things that we enjoy are because other people did that for the world. Like they worked super hard, or in some ways or another, maybe they're in politics, maybe they're in tech or whatever. And so I think it's worthwhile to do that. But that is like a very I think because I've thought about this for the last couple of years, and like this was um the conclusion I came up with. But
This is like philosophical, right? Kind
yeah,
of.
yeah, it's a lot. It's a very philosophical because otherwise it's like I think I think have if you can make 5 figures a month, like if you can get to 10 or not even just 10, but like multiple 5 figures a month, I think that's like diminishing returns for like a long time. If that makes sense. Like I don't think you'll get more stuff until you really make like $1 million a month. You know what I mean? Like
No,
between
I
twenty
think you
k a
need
month.
to. Yeah,
Yeah, but
I think you need to have a higher purpose, right? Something.
yeah,
For me, this is not at all what you're saying. Like, I
yeah,
think actually being happy is actually the most important thing for me. Even
gotcha.
though this has a bad rap, right? But
Yeah, yeah.
I think for me, it would be like building something that people remember after I'm gone,
Hmm.
which probably isn't a fucking website, right? Let's face it.
Yeah.
And I don't fucking care about legacy. I really like I look up to like game devs to be honest, like indie game devs. When I look, when I look, when I look, when I look,
Is
when I
he?
look, when I look,
He's
when I
lagging.
look, when I look, when I look, when I
You're
look,
lagging.
when I look, when I
Like, I
look,
don't know if you
when
can
I
hear
look,
us.
when I look, when I look, when I look, when I look,
What?
when I look, when I
Why is this so a job?
Is this ever gonna stop? Okay, it stopped. I hope that didn't stream. Dude, go wait.
All right, I think we can wrap up here. I have to go to bed anyways.
Dude, there's a coded screenshot. Wait, let me send it on Telegram. Okay, he's back.
So Riverside is not on my camera now. Camera is working.
All right, boys. But anyways, let's get kind of wrap it up. I'm tired as
Bro, what
fuck.
was
It's
what was
bedtime.
going on? What was going on? Why were you laughing? I saw it.
Because you were basically looping and saying when I look, when I look, when I look.
Okay. Yeah, we need to next week. We need to lock in and teach Riverside. This is garbage.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
let's get out.
Because I think
Yes.
I don't know, for me, SMR, I couldn't see you the entire time, so I think your recording might be totally fucked. So I think we
Oh,
might not
gotcha.
have a recording again.
Oh, SMR couldn't see us the last 2 times, right?
Yeah, but this happened also with what's his name, Alex, and
Yeah,
this
yeah,
is
yeah.
what fucked up the last recording. So I think we might have the same situation again,
Yep.
where you know,
Nice.
um, So I think next week, what do you think? Google Meet, OBS, log in, and
Yeah.
now we just wrap up. And we can talk about this topic another time if you guys want to.
Sure.
I
Yeah,
would
I think we
actually be
do.
interested. I think it's a good get to know each other question.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. Okay.
Definitely.
I think it's worth it for the next call. Yeah. Do we have
Yeah.
topics for 10 calls set up? It's pretty nice.
Yep.
Yeah, but we can keep this, right? What do you think? Like, should we keep
Yeah.
this?
Just keep it in up.
Because
Yeah,
feels-
we should draw. We should put it somewhere in the TL draw.
No, look. What I have is this, right? For next week, we can have different pages in TL Draw. So for next week, we are going to have a new page, but we can copy these over. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
let's keep this going. If you guys
Yep.
want, do we
Yep.
keep this or not?
Yeah, we keep it.
Yeah,
I like
we
it.
keep it.
Okay. So let's log in on these, and for the other topics, we have it covered till next week.
Yep. I'm
Yeah.
gonna add one hobby activity to that.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
also going to add a
Some
game or
image or
something.
something.
Who knows?
Yeah.
Cool.
Cool. Then see you
Alright.
guys.
Bye.
All right. Peace out. Goodbye. I said goodbye to my fucking mic. Goodbye. Wait, where's my cursor? There it is.